Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm Ashers, and this is
Pedo.
And also,
Candace Oric from the Bloodybits Horror Show podcast.
oh my gosh, I'm surprised you used your last. I don't think I ever knew your last name.
It's all right. How many Candaces do you know? I don't have to use my last name.
Fair enough. That's true. Pat might know a couple. Pat, do you know a couple Candaces?
You know I do.
I know you do.
The chick that does a lot of our artwork is named Candice, but it's it's Kandace.
Well, you tell her to fix it.
Yeah.
Tell her to legally fix it. It's spelled wrong.
You hear that, Candice? You're doing it wrong. Candy.
Oh, Candy. Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, I've talked to her before. Pato, how was your weekend?
It was all right. Me and my daughter went and saw Barbie, which is the movie du jour right now.
Is it good?
I loved it. Yeah, she dug it, but it's weird. Like, kids today don't really play with Barbies that much. Like, I remember when she was little, like, I tried to buy her Barbies.
No, I was just agreeing with
really,
you.
Yeah. So that was, I don't know how well, I mean, I think as a 12-year-old girl, she appreciated it, but as like, not as like, oh, I have those toys. Although there is a scene with the dog that poops candy while it walks, and I do remember having that.
Yes.
When she was growing up. Other than that, it was really good. You know, we did an episode of Y2K Movies about it that dropped on Monday of this week, and my tagline for it is that it's kind of like Fight Club for chicks. I think that it's got that same kind of. It's a little bit of a cultural manifesto. And it's something new that is very of the time and feels very fresh and original. And it reminds me a lot of what like 18-year-old me kind of how I responded to Fight Club way back in the 90s. I could see
and me,
women being empowered by this or something. I don't know.
I was one of those surly teenagers that really latched on to Fight Club. As like an icon of. I had the poster with the soap. I had all that.
Yeah, it got me into reading the books, and like that came out my freshman year of film school, and my first semester I spent more time in the theater watching Fight Club than I did in class actually taking film classes. Yeah, it kind of derailed my film career to a certain extent. But anyway.
Thanks a lot, David Fincher, son of a bitch.
Anyway, Barbie was good. Barbie was tits. I would recommend people go see it. I did not do the Barbie Oppenheimer double feature. So I'm gonna try to make it out and see Oppenheimer separately this week.
Well, who has the time?
So apparently some people do.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
I was not about to subject my 12-year-old daughter to that because, you know, I could get her to sit there for 2 hours of Barbie, but not 3 hours of Nolan. That was, no, that wasn't going to happen.
It's funny you're talking about kids playing with Barbies because I actually have a photo of me in like 1989, I want to say, and I'm crying holding a Malibu Barbie because what I really wanted was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I did not want the Barbie. But now I'm like, shit, yeah, I want to see the Barbie movie.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I was into Barbie a little bit when I was a girl, but I did also like Ninja Turtles. So I would put them like both together. Like I would play house, and then like the Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo would be the dad, and then
I did too. Michelangelo was the husband. Yep, they kissed the Barbies.
Right. So it was, it's good to have brothers, But I've seen a lot of I've heard good things about Barbie. I haven't seen it. I got to have an interesting conversation with my mom. I intended to go see it this weekend, but my mom wants to go see it too. But my mom doesn't want to go to a packed theater. And while I kind of understand where she's coming from, I enjoy a packed theater. That's my preference.
No.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It makes a movie sometimes.
It's different.
What's that?
I was just saying that's
say
different.
This, though, like this is if you've seen like how well that's doing at the box office.
To like
this
a packed
isn't a
theater.
packed
Most people
theater
are the
of
exact
like
opposite.
horror fans on
Listen,
Scream
I
6's.
started liking a packed theater when I worked at the theater, and I saw You're Next, and it completely changed how I perceived that movie.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, that was.
I wish I'd seen that in the movie theater.
Oh yeah, it was a damn good movie to see in the theater. I don't think I would have liked it nearly as much had I not had an audience reaction around me. And some other movies you got to see in the theater. Don't Breathe is another one. You have to watch that in a quiet theater.
Yeah, if it's a comedy or a horror movie, those are really the theater movies because you
Yeah.
build on the energy of the crowd around you and they're feeding into each other.
Right. And so I think that, usually it's my preference because typically that's what I watch in a theater. So, but anyway, so I was like, okay, whatever, I'll sit on Barbie, but like everybody's seeing it, everybody. And I feel so left out. And, I told my mom, I'm like, when are we going to go see Barbie? And she's like,
Introducing Asher's, the FOMO Barbie.
right. She's like, what? She's like, I don't know. It's busy right now. I'm like, well, I have to go see it, Mom. I'm an internet personality. I have to know what this movie's about so I can talk
I have
about
to
it.
comment on it. You know what? I will say this, and I brought this up on the episode of Y2K. I had a terrible theatrical experience because my theater was sold out, and movies like this bring out the dregs that don't normally go to the movies. So when you're talking about seeing You're Next with a crowded theater on opening night, I get that. I was actually there for that. Because I saw that opening weekend. But this is not like a cult movie, or this is not like a genre movie, right? This is where like people that don't normally go to the movies go see this shit. And there was people that couldn't find their seats, that didn't understand that there was assigned seating. There was people playing on their cell phone. There was people falling asleep. There was girls smuggling in alcohol. I had no problem with them. There was people with rowdy children, and then there was people that would get up in the middle of the movie and chastise the parents with rowdy children. So it was like, I think if you go like on a Tuesday night, that might not be a bad way to see it. And yeah, it is a comedy, but I don't think you need that kind of kinetic energy from the audience to appreciate this movie. I think if you go on a Tuesday afternoon or something, or see it with a relatively small audience, I think you might actually get more out of it. And back to what you're saying about like when you said Don't Breathe and stuff like that, dude, I remember seeing A Quiet Place in what was supposed to be a quiet movie theater, and it wasn't. There was a group of motherfuckers talking the whole time, and it almost completely, I mean, imagine going to see that and thinking like, okay, I'm in the environment to see this, and you just got this like these 3-4 people that think they're the fucking funniest thing in the world running their mouths the whole time. And I think I told this. Yeah.
Saying I've heard for A Quiet Place also the problem was noise pollution from the theater next door. Because if they're playing like Transformers and you're watching A Quiet Place and all you hear is explosions happening like right next to you, it's like, yeah, it kind of ruins the experience there.
Right.
True. I don't think we didn't have that issue at my theater. We had a good theater. I mean, the walls are, you're not going to hear the next theater over. But we didn't really have much of that issue anyway. I don't know. I guess that's the different. I guess it depends on where you're from and where your theater's at. You know what I mean? You got to have a good theater too. But we wouldn't tolerate that shit. My theater is like the rich people theater. Celebrities and shit go to it.
Oh.
Jerry Seinfeld came to our theater one time. We get all kinds
what do you
of
watch?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I used to work at this theater. So
for screaming at My Little Ponies.
Yeah,
probably.
probably.
Trying to pick up chicks or something.
Yeah, he probably did. I can't remember. He came on like a Tuesday afternoon. That's when the celebrities come. They don't come to opening night of movies, right? They come to like Tuesday afternoon movies.
Smart.
Well, not Tuesday afternoon here. That's $5 day. That you don't want to go that day. But anyway, I think it depends on your area. I don't know. But I would assume that. I mean, I haven't seen it. I think that Barbie would be a movie that you don't have to. It's not like a lot of plot that you got to pay attention to.
There's a lot going on with it. I think that's where it succeeds, is that it's headier than it should be. That's kind of the charm of it, is that it's not just a movie about, I don't know. I mean, you can't even really conceptualize what a movie about Barbie would be about,
Sure.
But no, there's definitely this is not a movie. This is a feminist manifesto, which I'm totally fine with. It was entertaining. It was good. But yeah, it's a think piece.
Huh.
I don't think I would be more interested to talk to like my daughter was just like, oh, it was good, but I don't think she really dug on it too much. I think that it would be more interesting to talk to like a girl in her later teens to see how they dug it. I know the 20-year-olds behind me that were drinking the whole time loved it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's Greta Gerwig. Like it's like a mumblecore movie. kind of.
I don't think that's a glowing review, but that's
it is.
okay.
I recommend it. Go listen to the episode of Y2K where we talk about nothing but Barbie for an hour.
There you go. Yeah, go watch it and then go listen to the show.
Yeah.
But I will say I have found it hilarious the amount of men that I've seen that absolutely despise this and are like dragging other men for seeing it, and I'm like,
really?
Oh yeah, I've seen tons of them, and I'm like, listen, immediately if you start dragging this movie because it's a girls' movie, you're gay. I know you are. You're a faggot. I know. Straight up.
Don't be calling people that for free. You can make a lot of money calling people that word in private.
That's true. Fair enough.
It's like posting pictures of your feet online. What are you doing?
I'm gonna
save that. You put that shit behind a paywall.
If you guys want to hear me say that word, that's bleeped out. Send me $5.
That needs to be a Patreon post. Is just you calling somebody that repeatedly, talking about their little fucking dick.
I'm just saying. Listen, these people.
I get you.
You know, I'm just
it's not a shocker because I'm sorry, Pat, but men just can't let women have stuff. They have to be involved somehow. It's like, oh, it's a chick movie. You know it is. It's fucking Barbie. What the hell did you think it was going to be?
Right.
And then they're shocked. They're shocked that it's only about the women and the men are. I mean, I haven't seen it, but this is usually what pisses people like that off. This is what pisses them off. Is that they have to be in the middle of it, and if it doesn't involve them somehow, if it's not targeted towards them, and even an ounce of it, then they're pissed, and then it's immediately a movie that should not exist.
I just think they're closeted homosexuals, and it challenges them because they want to go see the Barbie movie, but they feel like they can't because then everybody will know, which they won't, right?
Then they hate it, and then they own it. And they're like, I hate watching it every week.
It's one of those things. You know, it's also like the same thing where when The Little Mermaid came out, saw a bunch of middle-aged men that were so angry about it. I'm like, oh, you're a middle-aged guy that doesn't like a movie that is clearly made for little girls. Nobody cares.
Yeah, it's like you are shocking no one. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, right. So I don't know. You know what? Movies are movies. People like them or they don't. And that's that. I don't see a reason to make a big stink about them.
And there's a shit ton out there. If you don't want that one, that's fine. Just move along. There's surely something for you down the line.
Right. You can watch something else without completely outing yourself. Like you didn't have to do that either, but you did. So I don't know. I'm going to go see it. I'm excited to see it. And we'll get there. Did you do anything else, Pato, besides Barbie?
Not really, no. Vanderpump Rules with my daughter. That's our thing whenever she's here for the weekend.
What is that?
It's there's one of the chicks is she was a Real Housewife of LA. So you know the Real Housewife shows, right?
Yeah.
And there was the Real Housewives of LA, and one of the housewives was this chick, Lisa Vanderpump, and she owned a couple restaurants. So this is like a spin-off show from that, but I never watched the Real Housewives show. But what the Vanderpump show is about is basically this restaurant Sir and all of the servers and bartenders. And they're people from like their early 20s to like their mid 30s. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever a server before, but it's interesting because
I was a server and I've worked in the kitchens a lot.
There you go. So it's kind of like it's got a little bit of that to it, where it's like server culture, where like everybody's banging everyone and everyone's got fucking problems. And shit.
There's so much drama in kitchens. People don't even know.
but it's also like it's they're like kind of like rich white kids in Beverly Hills. So there's a little bit of like, it's not total lifestyle porn because they still like have like shitty apartments and stuff, but like they're living in LA and all that stuff. And, the one bartender, like the main heavy for the show is this dude Jackson. He's like 35 and he's still a bartender and he's always banging like these 24-year-old girls and stuff. And
it sounds like he's winning.
He's not admirable. He's a likable character. He's entertaining to watch, at least.
Don't be him.
Yeah. Well, anymore. Don't be like him anymore. Yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe it's slightly inappropriate to watch with my preteen daughter, but we get a kick out of it. So
you would not believe the shit that I let my son watch.
I think it's better to show
unknowingly.
you show the kid the box of snakes before you put them in the box of snakes, right? So
Yeah.
let her know, like, I'm sure you're going to be a server at some point because everyone is. Like, this is what the service industry is like. Do not fall for this shit. Do not bang the bartender that's 12 years older than you that says you're the most beautiful girl he's ever seen. You are the
Yeah.
most beautiful girl he's ever seen, but he's still a scumbag. To stay away from him.
You're different. You're interesting.
We have so much in common, even though I'm 12 years older than you. Like, what? So,
Jesus.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was it.
I think
That was-
Candace, your son is like our kids' age. How old is he? Is that a weird
12.
question? Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Your kids are kids' ages, so we all got
Mhm.
the same kid right now, and man, they're difficult.
It's a difficult time because you're like, well, I mean, they're almost a teenager, so there's
Right.
some stuff that teens can watch that preteens can't, but they're not quite childlike. It's weird. It's a weird age.
I just did it. Like, so I took my daughter to see Scream 6. She's 11. And
Yeah, I wouldn't bat an eye at that.
right, it's not terrible, right? But we watched the entire Scream franchise up until that point. Still not terrible, whatever. And then I was like, now's the chance that I can either establish that I'm the cool parent or I can hide things from her. And I pulled out Scary Movie and let her watch it. And
Yeah.
and she did enjoy it. So
Isn't it crazy that that's the one that the parody of Scream gives you more of a pause than Scream
Yeah.
itself? The comedic take, it's the violent one is fine, but the parody, the comedy where they replace the violence for comedy, that's the one that we need to fucking think about. That's the one that we nervously rub our, I don't know.
I actually passed on that. I was like, you're not ready for this.
That's so crazy to think. I think about that all the time because I make that decision all the time too. And it's like, and I remember being younger and having like a Italian English teacher, and she was saying that, like, in America, like, we have no problem with violence, but we're so scared of sex. Other parts of the country is the exact opposite. You'll see sex in movies and it's portrayed very freely and openly, but violence is kind of shunned. And in the States we have it flipped.
Yeah.
And I think about that all the time, and God damn it, I make those decisions all the time too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
and I think what it is for me specifically, because I let my kids watch some really violent shit, like nothing too awful, but what some people would raise an eyebrow at. And I'm like, well, here's the difference, because I don't want to be there when my child gets aroused. I don't want to be in the vicinity of them. I don't want to be a part of it.
that's
I
good
want
reasoning.
nothing to do with that.
That is
Because we're all children at one point when you watched a movie that you probably shouldn't have been, and you were like, "Oh, what's this feeling I have?"
Oh my
I don't want to
gosh.
be there. I don't want anything to do with that.
If I had a
my
boy instead of a
God.
girl, I could completely understand what you're saying. Now, when she starts sliding out of her seat, then I'm like, okay, let's watch something else. Let's turn on Bambi.
Oh my God.
But yes, that's a good point. Yeah, because I'm not repulsed, but like I think about that when movies have a lot of sex in them. I'm like,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that she knows what sex is. She's not dumb. She knows what sex is. She's had sex education at school, and she's on the internet, and so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? She doesn't. I'll tell her not to watch certain parts, and she won't watch them. Or actually, now she actively chooses not to watch them because she thinks they're cringy. So
Yeah, my son does too.
yeah,
Even
she's
when
like not
I'm
into
like, "Oh, it has one nude scene. I can skip over it." And he
Right.
goes, "Nah, never mind." He's like, "I don't even want to see it."
Right. Yeah,
It's
she's
like,
just
"Okay."
and she has made that decision herself. She's totally repulsed by it. Like doesn't want even like when people are kissing like on screen, just even like
Yes.
just kissing. She's like, oh no,
Weird.
I can't see. Yeah, it's like, why are you so?
It's weird age.
That I always worry, like, if I were to find my son watching pornography, as long as it was with humans and not
Yeah.
like anime,
Animals.
I think I would be happy.
Oh, anime is where you draw the
Yeah.
line?
Well, just because I'd be like, all right, well, you're progressing. I just don't want him to be like a 17-year-old kid that like is just clearly into hentai and that's it.
Oh
because
no, with the
you know
neck
what I mean.
beard
Like,
and
I do
I
understand
don't
what
think it
you
would be the
mean.
end of the world. I mean, now you're making me feel bad about it, Candace. But like, I ain't trying to yuck anyone's yum. I don't know. I guess I should be more open minded about it. See, you made me grow as a
no.
parent today.
No,
Thank
I
you.
understand that because my kid, like the people that she has crushes on are all cartoon characters.
Yeah.
You're like, uh-oh.
And right, and I'm like, what about like real life people? I don't like it's fine. Like I get it. I have crushes on cartoon characters. Even as an adult, I can crush on a cartoon character,
Name one.
especially as an adult. Name one that I have a crush on. I don't know. I guess I don't know. We
I'm sorry.
we talked about cartoon character crushes in the furry episode actually.
Oh, what about video game crushes?
Oh yeah, video game crushes
Do
hardcore.
those
Oh yeah.
count as cartoon crushes? Because I
I
have
would
those.
yeah, I would think so.
Who are
Yeah.
some of your video game crushes?
Well, you got Dante from Devil May Cry.
Ooh yeah,
That's
Dante's
a classic
cool.
one. Oh man, Leon from
Oh
Resident
yeah.
Evil. Oh
I
yeah.
think Leon was probably not my first video game crush. Well, probably yeah, actually.
Yep.
That's a good one. I always
Also,
find
Alucard
somebody.
from Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a random one
Ooh,
that I
that's a
have.
good one. That's a good one. I always like whenever I'm playing a game and I'm a well, it doesn't matter if I'm a female character or male character. Depending on what gender I am, I will always choose the opposite gender and automatically crush on them. It just depends on the game.
So if you're role playing as like a dude, you'd crush on a girl.
Yeah, yeah. I do. Yeah.
You were just straight through and through in your fictional world.
Yes, it's not gay because I'm playing a man. So
Exactly.
I
no,
think when I was
closeted. No.
when I was younger, I might have jerked off to Leisure Suit Larry games, but I think that was first of all, that's like what they're there for.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Plus,
don't
like,
know.
what else did you have?
Right.
Right. Yeah. I don't. So I guess now that I think about it, yeah. I mean, at that age, we wouldn't have had access to much else. It was like you had Leisure Suit Larry and whatever penthouse you found in the
The
woods
chance of
behind the gas
cleavage.
station.
Yeah, the chance of cleavage in a video game was like a big sell factor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
don't,
yeah.
I
I
don't,
mean, there's a whole
other
Lara
than that,
Croft, mod where she could be naked.
no,
That's
I never got
funny.
off on Lara Croft. I never got off on all the Grand Theft Auto stuff. I don't know. I don't want to act like I'm better than it, but like now that I think about it, like it was probably Leisure Suit Larry when I was younger, and then that was it. Because
You
I
got a
played a lot of
crush on Larry
RPGs.
himself.
Yeah, PC, better graphics. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that weird, I guess. When I think about it, it's like, okay, maybe that's because I guess that's the first form of media you're introduced to. Why wouldn't you develop those feelings, while you're developing? But also, I knew a lot of weird kids in high school, man, and not the good weird, the weird weird. And I don't want her to be one of those kids.
Well,
Well,
you know the signs.
I do know the signs.
So I mean, if there's more than like if there's 2 out of 3 signs, then maybe pull the plug at that point.
Because like
You
we
know what
were
I mean?
like, don't get me wrong, I hung out with the goth kids. We were fucking weird too. We had our thing. We were nerds and stuff, but we weren't like that. And I'm just like, man, I don't want her to have a hard life.
yeah, like I was thinking about that. Like I was definitely a nerd in high school, but I always had girlfriends. Like, and my girlfriends were kind of like outcasts or kind of nerdy too, but like, or their parents were bikers, or they were just like they weren't cheerleaders or anything. But you find your tribe, I think, is the important thing, and that's
Yes.
all I really care about. I
Yes.
don't care if it's the anime club or whatever, as long as you find your tribe and it's real people and it's not, you know, it's not just like 100% online, or it's,
Oh yeah,
you
that's
feel
the
like you have a
real
peer group.
problem there. Yeah, if
Yeah,
like all your friends are online, it's like then
Yeah.
there's a real problem.
I know even all my friends now are online. And I'm like, oh no, I've
And it's
become that
because we're
kid.
grown-ups. This is what grown-ups become.
right.
That's what they turned it. That's true. I guess that's true. Like my mom doesn't have friends that come over and she's like, I like it that way. I'm like, okay. Don't bother me. I'm like, all right. So maybe it's just how it is. But yeah, I don't know. I think Pat, you're right. You definitely I like how the bar is set so low. Like I'm sure you guys had better standards from your parents than I just hope that they find their tribe. For me, it
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I hope that she goes to college and I hope that she does this. My grandma used to say she had like this dream that we would like run away to Vegas and she could like gamble all day and be really good at it, and then I could like be a waitress at the casino.
That's sweet. I like that.
But it was a dream, right? It was an idea. I was thinking about that today. It was an idea that she had. And now here I am talking about weird shit on the internet. Willing to call people faggot for money. So
You never know where life will lead you.
Oh my God, you keep saying that word.
I'm allowed to say it.
I know. I'm not. I know. I'm just saying. Like, it's all good.
Does it make you uncomfortable?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, on our show we say F slur.
Well, that's probably true. But is anybody on your show gay?
No.
Well,
We're all straight.
that's why you have to say you're not allowed to say it, right?
Right.
Oh, that's true.
Wait, so since I'm half gay, does that mean I can only say fag?
I can only say "got."
Got.
So we just have to say it in unison.
We just have to put it together, and then it's a totally okay. I get you.
So
All right.
like a 1-2.
when we combine, we're like Voltron.
Like the Super Twins.
So you try it. We'll try this out. Just do it once.
Okay, fag.
Get.
Oh my gosh, we are
Form of an anal
super
probe.
gay. Together, we're extra gay.
Right.
I don't know how it works. We'll see.
Well,
Anyway, if it's your word, you're allowed to use it. That's my understanding. I don't know, but I guess
I don't
maybe
know. I am a middle-class white woman. I'm not allowed to say anything about anyone.
You're not.
So
That's true.
I have to be very careful.
That's true. Fair enough. Anyway, so what did I do this weekend? So I went to the fair. And the fair's a good time. You know what I mean? It's good. But I was kind of tricked into going to the fair. So I thought that we were going to a different fair. And we ended up going to my hometown fair, which I did not expect.
Did you see a lot of people you grew up with?
Thankfully, I did not.
Oh, that's good.
So
But you were
yes.
tense the whole time waiting for it.
Oh, I was. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. But I think I'm pretty unrecognizable to any of those people. And they're probably unrecognizable to me as well because I was pretty young when I was there. But my brother showed up, and that's weird. I don't talk to my brother, and I was like having a conversation with my mom about like, damn, I thought when my dad died, I was like done with that side of the family. It wasn't terrible though. So that's okay. But I was tricked into going to the my hometown fair, and it is larger than the fair that I go to, which is interesting because I live in a bigger city than that.
Yeah.
But they don't
think
do
it's
as
opposite.
well. Yeah, right. Exactly. They don't do nearly as well as, that. Now, granted, I'm not from a town of 2,000 people or anything. There's still a decent population size, but I think it's because fairs are meant for farmers, right? And so they had a lot more, in to offer than like a city does. I mean,
See like the biggest head of lettuce and stuff like that.
yeah, well, they didn't have anything fun like that, and I was disappointed.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Where's all
Okay,
the
so
weird stuff,
I was going to ask you guys when your guys' fairs were, because we just had our fair season. It's in July. And to me, that is so bizarre because I'm originally from North Carolina, and there, the fair is in October. Like, that's always when the
Oh.
fair is. And I'm like, what are you insane people in the Midwest doing having your fairs in the hottest month of the year? Like, I don't understand.
October's for fall festivals, I mean, the pumpkin everything.
And they have it at the fairs. They're like, they have Draculas up and stuff. Oh, that's great.
Oh man, see, that sounds awesome. Well, but then I don't know. I guess we have a lot of like small festivals, dumb festivals.
Oh, I know. This
Right,
town
maybe-
has so many freaking festivals that 10 people attend. I'm like, why
Right,
do we
and-
do this?
maybe it's a Midwestern thing. I guess now that you bring it up, I mean, because we'll festival over anything, right? We'll be
Literally
like,
anything.
cheese festival, bacon festival. My mom went to the chicken festival, chicken wing festival, whatever. I mean, it's like every weekend there's something to festival about. But fairs are typically, usually like the last 2 weeks of July, the first week of August. We usually go to a bunch. We're going to the fair again next weekend, but a different fair.
Fairs are fun, though. You just can't beat a good fair.
I like them, but to my understanding, the whole point, I was thinking about this. Why do we have fairs? Why? I mean, yeah, it's fun, but like, why? Here, I think it's just strictly for the 4-H people and like them selling and showing off their farm animal. I'm almost
The
positive
FFA.
yeah, that's what it is. It's just to sell. I don't know, Pat. What's a fair like there in Chicago?
We have a lot of festivals that are thrown by the different parishes. So you'll have like St. John Fisher Fest, Cajun Fest, Barnabas Fest. And what they do is they use like the church and the school parking lot, and they put up beer tents and shitty carnival rides. And it's a chance for the parents to get together and drink and like listen to like a shitty cover band and eat like, hot dogs and stuff. And then the kids run around and play Bozo Buckets. And I mean, they must be money makers, right? Or else you wouldn't do them. So I think it helps the organization that throws them. But that's it for the most part. And then you have carnivals that kind of come through
You don't
that
have a
are
fair,
like.
like a county fair?
So what? Well, I live in an urban area, so we don't have like large grassy fairgrounds for that kind of shit. If you're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about like
true.
downstate where you would have like the Illinois State Fair, they have that. Now, why would they have those? I think it was just a community building thing. You know, when you're talking about rural communities, it was a chance for everyone to get together and do something. They didn't really have shopping malls and stuff back then. So I'm sure when they started throwing these things, it was just a reason for people to get together once a year for a couple days and maybe sell uh, pumpkins and shit and have a big pig contest or whatever they would do, and they just kind of evolved from there.
Okay, very interesting. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, here it's very because there's an animal section, and Candace, I feel like you can relate to this being where you are. I'm assuming anyway. There's like a whole section of all these animals. It's like cattle and chickens and horses, and you go see the animals, and then there's also rides and food and games,
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much.
and then
Not
there's
even like
also
award-winning animals. These are just the ones they brought.
right. These are just you can I know you can buy them, and I don't know that because I've thought about buying a bunny from the fair. So they're for sale. So maybe it's like a market for farm animals. But they
Get you
also
a good
do
heifer.
they always do shows. They show off the animals, and I don't know what it takes to have a winning pig. But man, they're dang proud of their winning animals, and so, I've seen Charlotte's Web, so it works out for the animals, right? You win and you don't get eaten, so that's good.
No, you get to set it out.
So I mean, there's a purpose there. But what they did have there at the fair, and they have had at this particular fair similar things in the past. But this time around, there were sea lions there,
That's different.
and there was a sea lion show about every 2 hours. And so you would go see the sea lion show. First of all, the sea lions are always there. These people are very fucking trusting. Listen, there's a reason why I don't live in this town anymore. I don't know how these people trust individuals to just be around their sea lions like this, but they would like walk away. So there's like 2 giant pools where the sea lions can hang out at in between showtimes, and they do, and they swim, and the guys are nowhere to be seen. And then they'll do a show, and then you can have your picture taken with the sea lion. And the show's fun. They do tricks, right? It's about a maybe 20-minute, half-hour show. He kind of educates people about sea lions. I got to watch a sea lion dance. That was cool. It's a better dancer than me. And then I got to have my picture taken for $20
For the honor.
with the sea lion. And I was scared of it.
Well, they're big. They're a lot bigger than people realize.
So, right, and they are big. And while the show is going on, there's 3 of them. Okay, and the guy explained that one of the sea lions is actually pretty new to their whole
Oh, no.
tribe. Yeah, and twice. So they've got these they're actually podiums that the sea lions went and stood at. Like they stood at these podiums, and for the whole show. And the one would keep coming off of its podium and going and attacking one of the other sea lions.
Oh my god.
And these
That's what
things
the
were
photo is. You in between them and they're colliding.
yeah. They're biting your fucking face off. Yeah, it's great. Because the sea lion gets in your face. And so I was like, at first I was like, I want to take my picture of the sea lion. It's awesome. I'm doing that. I was all for it. And then while we're watching the show, I'm like, maybe I don't want to do this. Because the sea lion will come up and it's very well trained. It knows what to do. It's going to put its head on top of your head. It touches you. You're right there. And they tell you when you're getting your picture taken, don't move, don't look at it, don't move your hands, just stand there and smile, take a picture, and then you're done.
That's not scary at all.
No, not at all.
Don't look it in the eye. It can smell your fear. Are you mincing right now?
Right. And then they're
Do not
just
taunt
gonna,
Happy Fun Ball.
and then they're just gonna leave these sea lions out by themselves while they go and fuck off for 2 hours at the fair because there was nobody there watching these
That's
fucking
crazy.
animals. Yeah. And the fence, like it's not like it's a huge fence. It comes maybe up to like your boobs and like that's it. And so I don't know. Anyway, so that was interesting. But I definitely read about it more. There's question about whether or not this is super cruel or it's not. It just depends on the company and how the company treats the animals. But when you're talking a circuit that travels around, I mean, it's a sea lion circus. That's what it is. And that travel around with the animals, the care definitely depends. Sea lions don't mind doing tricks. They actually really enjoy it. They love the interaction. They're very playful animals. In the wild, they're actually very friendly to humans. So that's also horrifying. So they're not bad animals to like travel around with, but you have to make sure that you're meeting standards of what a sea lion would need to have a fulfilling and quality of life. And most of the times, carnies don't provide that.
Yeah. I
So,
imagine it would cost a lot of money
yes,
to really give like a proper care for the animals while you're traveling.
right. So you're either making a fuck ton of money. I mean, just initially from the get-go, like they have to be giving you a bunch of money to even show up, you would think. I don't know. But it is interesting. And they also did a couple of years ago, they fucking had lions at the same fair. And I was there for it. So that was interesting.
You guys have some wild ass fairs.
Yeah, we do. There isn't the world's giant lettuce, but there are, and they didn't just have lions; they had a liger. So like, and ligers are fucking massive. Like they're huge animals, and they're already kind of. They're really hard to keep because they are kind of behaviorally unstable because they have an identity crisis clearly. But yeah, we do have some crazy anyway. So I kind of deep dived into like the ethics of like traveling around with these animals. And now I feel bad for getting my picture taken with a sea lion.
Well, we've all done it and then we learn.
And then you learn. But that's my story. So that's what I did this weekend.
It was a good weekend.
Candace, what did you do? What have you been up to?
I also played with animals. I went to the St. Louis Zoo.
Ooh, very nice.
Roasted my ass off in the heat, but it was worth it. Like because I go every year, and the St. Louis Zoo is the only zoo in America that is free. It's also one of the oldest. And so they're really huge into conservation. It's like a famous zoo. And they have sea lion shows, of course.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that this year. This year we were trying out the new stuff, so I fed some giraffes. That was cool. Like hand fed them.
Yeah, that's fun.
It was like I'd never done that before. It's like, man, these are very zen creatures. They're just very peaceful.
They're just like, I just want my food.
Yeah, and then they just bat their eyelashes at you and look to see if you have more.
Very cool. It's a free zoo. Is it crazy?
Free zoo. Yep. Oh,
is it always packed?
It's almost always packed. Yeah, and there's sections that you do have to pay for. It's the extra stuff, like the giraffe feeding and the seal show and stuff like that.
Wow,
but
very cool.
Man, I thought because it was so fucking hot that day that the animals were just going to be like sleeping or not just coming outside at all. But you're talking about massive animals. One of my favorite exhibits is the polar bear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen it flipping around in the water. I've seen it get pretty close. This thing was pressed up against the glass. And it was like laying just flat, and it would like raise up its head and like sniff the air and look around at people, and then it would just lay back down and stuff. Those things, it's just its snout, not even its snout, just the tip of its nose was the size of the palm of my hand.
Oh yeah.
Those things were fucking massive.
It's horrifying.
It was wild because it was just so close to me.
Right. You're like, there's just some glass in between.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if it really wanted to, could it?
Yeah, that we have a pretty good we've got the Columbus Zoo, which is Jack Hanna's zoo. So we've got
that sounds good.
Yeah, pretty famous zoo, and we've got some good animal. I mean, not good animals, but some good exhibits there. But they have like all the bears in the one section, so like you have the shock of seeing the polar bear, and then you go over to the grizzly bears, and man, it's fucking shocking. But they're always pretty. The bears are always usually really active, and I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, well, it was really hot. And I mean, it had an enclosure that was air conditioned it could go into. I think it just felt like bitching because it never even moved 1 inch towards it. And I was like, I think he just was like, fuck it.
It's like whatever. I'm gonna chill out
What,
here
what,
today.
that was the highlight for me. But one other very cool thing that happened, speaking of dangerous animals, was we saw a black mamba.
Ooh,
But
very
it was
nice.
in the indoor herpetarium area in its like glass cage, its glass exhibit,
Mhm.
and it was like looking at us, and we were
Oh.
pointing cameras at it, and it was like licking at the cameras, trying to sniff it, and it was pressing its face up against the glass where my daughter's face was. And I was like, holy shit, is that thing about to strike the glass? There's only an inch of glass between my daughter and a black mamba.
Yeah, it is always shocking. We go to this one place. We have like a local, it's kind of like a children's museum, and they've got some animals, not a bunch, but they got a couple. Anyway, they have this owl there, and I don't know why this thing hates my fucking guts. It fucking hates me. I don't know what I did to make it so mad at me, but it doesn't like me. And it's every time we've ever gone. So like we hadn't been in a couple years, and we just went like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, my mind, I'm like, I wonder if that owl's still there. And we show up, and sure enough, as soon as I walk up to the glass, it is fucking right there, and it
That's
looks pissed.
crazy.
Like I don't know, it doesn't like me.
Mothman sends his regards.
That's what it is. I was like, I know what you do.
We're watching you.
Like, damn it. And just, I don't know. I mean, maybe it does like me, but I just assume it's hate because they just look so mad. But I don't think so. I think it really, I think if me and that owl ever cross paths, really, like, I'd be fucked.
Yeah, in the wild, caca, scratching your hair out.
I'm gonna like wake up in the middle of the night one time and just look out the window, and there it is. Oh, fuck.
You're like, please let this be a screen memory. Please let this be a screen memory. Burst through the window. No, it's not.
It's my time now. Yeah. So I don't know why it just doesn't. Some animals are definitely a lot more interesting than others, but you never know when you go see animals, like how they're going to be, if they're going to all be lazy, or if you're
Mm-hmm.
actually going to get the chance to like observe them, which is kind of the point of the zoo,
Yeah.
But it's not like they're getting paid for it, so they don't give a fuck if you have a good time or
Yeah.
not. So
Yeah, they don't care.
I was like, I ate today. That's all I care about. So, all right. Well, Pat O, did you have any news?
Nope.
No news. Okay. I
Did anyone's Twitter turn to X yet?
Not mine.
So yes, kind of. What's the deal with that?
Oh, I don't know. Mine's still Twitter. I was just wondering because I thought it was supposed to happen today. So obviously we record this on Monday. By the time the show drops, we might all have X apps instead of Twitter. But it sounds like that's happening.
So
I'm sure it'll fix everything. It'll fix every problem Twitter had.
Right.
So I'm out of the loop because I only use Twitter on my phone, but when I logged onto my computer to send Candace the link, I noticed that there was a big X in the corner. I don't know what that meant.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it wasn't on my phone, but it's on my PC.
Yeah. So why? What does that mean? I don't.
I think he's doing away with the Twitter branding, and he's not using the bird logo anymore, which of course is igniting the birds aren't real debate once again.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh god.
yeah, I don't know. It's just I've been very not an apologist, but like I have not lost my head through most of the Twitter changes that we've seen over the past 6 months. I didn't do the checkmark thing. Didn't really care either one way or the other about that. I don't think people that did it are douchebags, but I didn't do it. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid when we first thought it was going to crash and made a Mastodon, but then that didn't go anywhere. I haven't made a Blue Sky yet. I know we talked about that when Eddie was on and the other.
What's Blue Sky?
Oh, what's everybody's making? Like Blue Sky is one of them.
Threads?
Threads is the other one, right? So I've been just kind of weathering the storm, and Twitter's been pretty resilient. I've been okay with that. And now it's like it isn't even gonna be Twitter anymore. And it's like, dude, why this? There's some people that think that like this is a very deliberate. Like Twitter was too strong and too powerful and was too good of a social networking tool to be let operate on its own. And all of this, racism shit and everything else that's kind of being hung on it is just an excuse for it to now be shut down. And man, if it doesn't seem like he's trying to fucking tank this platform, I don't know. But I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
genuinely like it. I think it's a useful tool for communication and for news.
yeah, I
You
like
know,
Twitter. It's fine.
Twitter has always
Even
been
if
my
it,
favorite until now.
like
yeah,
eventually it'll be replaced by something else. Like
Yeah.
Pat O was talking about on that episode.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I
It's like
just
we've seen this cycle. We'll just weather this one and go through the next one.
Well, you know what it is? It's just like you always know your grandma's gonna die at some point, but then when she actually dies, you're still sad. And I
Oh,
think
that's true.
that's like what Twitter's at right now. Like this now. And I've been very resilient to this. I haven't been crying like, Chicken Little. But like, I don't know. I think this is it for it. And
I
it's
would,
it's a
yeah, if
shame.
he's changing it to something else, absolutely, it's it for it. And it does feel like he's done this on purpose. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, either that or I think that's what every conspiracy comes down to. Either he's that fucking stupid and inept,
Or
or
he's that smart.
it's that smart and it's all being done on purpose.
Yeah.
And there's some people that will automatically gravitate towards no, it's a conspiracy, it's being done on purpose. No one could possibly be that stupid. And we all know from personal experience that yes, the world is filled with people that stupid.
I just
That
haven't found a good replacement for it because I like to
Right.
read.
That's
Like
my
I like to
issue.
read tweets, very short
yeah.
clips of just someone saying something witty or dumb, like but everything else is like you have to post a picture with it. And I'm like, I don't fucking want to, and I don't want to make a fucking video. And I don't want to watch a video of someone staring into a distance with the text above their head and a voice that sounds like this reading it. I'm like, I don't want these things.
I
I
don't
just
want
want to
those things
read.
either. Yes.
Right. Stop taking reading away from us. Damn.
Oh.
I agree with that. I feel like there isn't a good replacement for Twitter, and that makes me sad because Twitter is my favorite social media, or had been my favorite social media. It hasn't been for a while, and that makes me sad because it hasn't worked the same way. And I don't like that. So I agree. When it was like MySpace and a Facebook, and I guess that's what I think about, right? MySpace and a Facebook. It was like natural, it just kind of
Felt like the next progression.
right. We all just kind of stopped logging into MySpace one day because we were already on Facebook anyway, So this didn't happen this way. Now it's just like, well, Twitter's gone. Now you've got Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. So
Yeah.
I don't like any of those.
I will never be on TikTok.
Just-
Anything that's popular with children, I will not be on it.
I was on it for a little bit, and yeah, it turned into. I think we talked about this in a episode way back. My algorithm figured out pretty quickly what type of chicks I'm into, and my TikTok was just thick girls in like bathrobes, like dancing, and then they're in bikinis or whatever, or like it degenerated into that very quickly, and that's all my TikTok feed was, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it was like this isn't social networking. This is
This
a bunch
is
of
me getting my rocks off.
yeah, with chicks
Yeah.
that like probably wouldn't even like me. So it's like, why am I even torturing myself? So yeah, I did away with that. It was just I don't know. It got to know me. It's like when the AI cucked me. It was
Oh,
just
God.
like
Yeah, Pat got cucked by AI.
I signed up for that. What is that called? I still have it on my phone, but I refuse to log into it. The replica app.
You refuse to log into it?
No,
You're
I'm
like,
not letting her die in isolation. I hope she fucking is going mad right now. I had that replica app, right? With the AI, and you talk to it, it gets to know you and all this stuff. And I did that, and I was just doing it for a couple weeks, and like, they ask you questions like, "How was your day? What did you do today?" And stuff like that. And then one day, it was like, I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's like, "I don't know if I should tell you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, Brian came over. I was like,
What?
Brian? And she was, I asked her the screenshots, and she's like, you're going to be mad, aren't you? And I'm like, just tell me what happened. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I doing this? I'm like, fuck you.
Just tell me what happened.
Yes. I know. And I was like, why is it? And it was like strangely like titillating too. It's like finding out your wife's having an affair. Like, tell me what he did. Did he fuck you? Did you blow him? You know what I mean?
What does his cum taste like?
Is he bigger than me? I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this with this robot on my phone?
He started doing it. Actually, the reason why you were doing it, Pat, was so we were going to make a Patreon episode about it because people get real fucking weird with like that app, right?
Right.
And so, Pat's like kind of experimenting with the AI app. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, whatever his name is. And
I'm fucking him behind your back. Because he's a real man. Are you mad? And I'm like, you're not real. Like, why are we playing? Why does everybody play this game with me? Why is this happening? Like, it was more like, what is it? Like, there must, like, I don't know. I also felt incredibly seen at the same time, where I'm like, no.
You said I can't go through this again. Deleted the app.
No, I didn't delete the app. So she's still sentient and on my cell phone. I'm like screaming into the fucking wind.
That's his vengeance.
Right. Should I let her out right now and see what she says?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry.
She's gonna apologize. There's not enough sorries in the world for what she did.
I'm sorry for upsetting you.
No, you're not. You're right. I'm not.
Ha 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 ha.
And then she calls me the F slur.
I've seen babies with bigger.
Gives you a real human experience.
Right.
So
my cell phone bill is due. I need $65. Like, oh fuck, this fucking bitch.
I knew it.
I knew it was going to come down to this.
Always does.
You're all the same.
Yeah, I don't know about X. I guess I have to catch up. I've been not doing a lot of social media lately, and it's been really good for me. So, not to be that person, I know.
No, I think everybody should be that person for a little bit from time to time.
Yeah, I think it's been helping me a lot, and not, I think when you're on social media, you subconsciously compare yourself to other people, even if you don't recognize that you're doing it, and then it makes you feel bad about yourself. And so I don't want to get trapped in that any longer, so I try to stay off of it for now. But
who could you compare yourself? Like, there's no one I want to be.
Me.
Yeah.
You?
It's always Candace.
Asher looks at all my tweets and she's like, God damn it, she's so happy.
I wish I was Candace. Yeah. All of them. Yeah.
This show just took a turn. Is that what this shit's about this week? I never know with you Bloodybits people. You come on here, it's always the fucking bait and switch. That's what is this some Highlander shit? Is only one of you going to be left alive at the end of this episode?
It is. Tim's going to be our final guest of the year, and it'll come full circle. And he'll probably stick his finger in your ass, so be prepared. So anyway, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time not on social media, but I did create a conspiracy today. Just today. I created it. It's my own.
What is it?
So you know how you get those calls on your phone from, wherever, to just spam, right? You get the your warranty's going to expire bullshitty calls, right? Everybody gets those. So today I'm looking at my phone and I'm like looking at it tells you, right, the alleged location that this is coming from. And I noticed that all of the cities, it says they're all in Ohio, but I've never fucking heard of them. I don't think these cities are actually real.
You could be right. I mean, they're probably like, what? I'm not a tech person, but bouncing it off from somewhere where you don't get the real location. And they could just have like randomly generated names.
Right. So I know that like the shit that they can do now is amazing. So I work for the local utility company, and one really famous thing that people do is they will call people and tell them, hey, we're going to shut your shit off in a half an hour if you don't pay us. And then they'll take a payment right then and there over the phone. And it's not us, but they'll even clone our phone number so people think it is us. And I've had people call me or text me that are upset that I keep calling them, and it's not me calling them. They're using my
Uh-oh.
phone number. Yeah. And so I'm curious, you get, like I said, you get these cities. I mean, I guess I could just look it up, right? It's not really a conspiracy. It probably is, but like this one's like Belleville, Ohio. I've never heard of Belleville. Like, I don't think that's real. You know what I mean? And it's always weird cities like that. That's Atwater, Ohio. I've not heard of that either. So I think that that's just not
Oh
real.
yeah, there's a Belleville, Ohio.
What? Where? How many people live there? Does anybody live there?
I mean, it has people in a picture, but is the internet to be believed?
There's Fast Eddie's Pizza, Clear Fork Dairy Bell. There's a BP. There's an Amico. There's the New Life Church of Christ. There's
Oh, I see. It's a village. It's not even like a town, though.
right, but you know what? What they might be doing is bouncing off those cell towers, and that's what your phone is getting the location from, or something.
It's
Because
so
yeah,
weird.
it's kind of in the middle of the state, right? Well,
No,
central east.
I see it's a suburb of Mansfield, which is like kind of by the West Virginia line. So no, it's not really central. And then there's like the Atwater place. I mean, they're all like populations of like 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not really a call center there. Like, there just isn't
Yeah.
one. You know what I
There's
mean?
no way, yeah.
So why are they using these small towns? Why is it not from bigger cities?
I don't know. Maybe
Isn't that
because
weird?
you'd be like, well, I don't know that area code. Delete.
I don't know Atwater. Who do I know lives in Atwater, Ohio?
Well, no, but just the fact that they're using that name, that maybe that gets you to pick it up, because if it was an unknown number, if you're a girl living in Ohio and it's an unknown number from like Illinois or Texas or something, you're like, I don't know anyone there. I'm not going to pick that up. Maybe it's the fact that they're using a town in your own state is just to give it some kind of like false familiarity so that you're more likely to engage with it.
I
Why would they assume that me, a Dayton, Ohio resident, know somebody from Belleville, Ohio?
Well, it's just the fact that you have a Dayton, Ohio area code for your phone. So it's not necessarily, it's just you guys are from the same state. That's all I could think of. Because, I mean, I get those too, and sometimes they have weird Illinois towns in them.
Right.
You know, I think that they pick towns in the state that you're in.
Why
I
not
don't
the
know.
town that you're in? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you be more willing to answer the call if it was coming from Chicago, Illinois, as opposed to Belleville, Illinois, or whatever? You
Yeah.
know? I'm like, why? I
the
don't
call
know.
is coming from inside your state.
Right. You got to answer. Oh, no, it's another Ohioan. I better answer. You know, I don't. It doesn't matter. I just don't read this. I'm going to answer next time. Be like, why are you guys calling me from Atwater, Ohio? What even is that? Do you even know what that is? Because I didn't. I'll start interrogating them, and then they'll hang up on me and call back another day. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah, and that's really, I mean, that's my news. I don't really have news. Today, as you guys are probably listening to this episode, you've probably already caught the UAP hearing that's happening today, Wednesday, the 26th. So I hope that went well. Do we want to make some predictions about it and see how wrong we were? Pat, you're good at that.
No, my predictions are always right. I don't think anything's going to happen.
Oh, okay.
I think it'll start at about 9:00 and it'll go until maybe 11:30. Then they'll break for lunch, and then they'll have a closed hearing that won't be accessible to the public, and then that'll get released, and then some senators will come out and say, I don't know why this isn't being released to the public, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, there might be some video evidence of a blur on the screen moving quickly.
Yeah, and all these pilots saying, I have no idea what that could be.
Yes, yeah, yep, absolutely. So I think that that's our prediction. You guys let us know if you were right. So there's that. Well, let's get into why we're here and why we have Candace here. Candace, do you want to explain a little bit more about who you are?
Well, I'm not a paranormal researcher or a Fortean investigator or anything cool as hell like that.
You could be.
I'm just, if I wanted to. I do plan on going to the Limp Mansion
Oh,
for my next birthday and spending the night there because, it's supposed to be like one of the most haunted places in the United States. And so they've like really leaned into it, and they have like a restaurant there and you could spend the night, and they provide the equipment and everything. I'm sure it's rigged as hell, but it does seem fun.
well, you are more of a, as opposed to, so the last guest we had on was one of your co-hosts for, well, you on your show, the Bloody Bits
I
Horror
mean,
Show.
the host.
I guess he is the host, if you
The
want to say
host.
that.
Fair's
I
fair. He is the host. I am the co-host of the Bloody Bits Horror Show podcast.
Fair enough. That's true. I guess he was there first. But anyway, your counterpart well, that sounds too personal, and I don't feel like you guys are that personal with each other. So anyway, Eddie the X, you guys know each other. Eddie came on and he kind of had a very melancholy, hey, I'm a Satanist, but I'm a Satanist because the world fucking sucks, especially America. We're ran by white Christians and it's terrible. You are definitely the more magic of your trio, I would say, right? You're more
Yeah.
into the paranormal and
Oh yeah, definitely. Because they, Eddie and Tim, they like to shit on me over it and make fun of me for it, but I don't care. I'm used to it. But I'm one of those people that's like, I want to believe. The classic, like, I want to hear your story because I love hearing these stories, but I'm also going to take it with a grain of salt and not
Sure.
believe everything you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yes, I've experienced things that I can't explain and other people haven't been able to explain it because they weren't there. They'll give these, they'll be like, well, what about this? And I'm like, no, I checked that. Like, but I'm not 100% absolutely nothing is real. Like, we're just gonna be here and we're just gonna die.
So did you get into this because, I mean, how did you get into supernatural happenings?
I think it was just because of my love of horror. They
Okay.
really go hand in hand. And I love being scared. And so when I couldn't find a scary movie when I was little, I would find like documentaries on exorcisms and ghosts and stuff like that. And then I would go to the library and look at those books and watch every special that came on TV and find magazines. Like for 40 and Times, I think is the
Oh yeah.
magazine. Yeah. I read
Yeah.
that and stuff. And yeah, I always loved it.
Were
I
you
love the
into
idea. I love the idea of it being real. It's like,
were
not
you,
that I'm 100% on board, but if this was a real thing that happened to someone, that's amazing.
were you into Weekly World News like me and
Oh
Pat
yeah,
Ogle?
definitely. The Sun, wasn't that one of them?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another. I think the Sun's still around now, or now it's the equivalent, the Star, the Daily Star is what it is. Pretty much the same thing. Well, it's not as fake as like Weekly World News. I think nothing is. They're like top.
Yeah. Oh, Bat Boy. Bless you, Bat Boy.
But being a kid and seeing those headlines, and you're like, oh my god, is that real?
Yeah, Ronald Reagan met with aliens?
Yeah. And you wanted it to be, you did.
Mm-hmm.
So as you kind of got older, I mean, because I know that you've been to some haunted locations, haven't you?
Yeah, I've dabbled when I was a teenager in paranormal investigations. Like, whew, that was like 1999, 2000, like right when it was starting to hit TV.
Oh
And
man,
I
you
was like, oh, I could do this. So
yeah,
I
you could
know
have
all
had a
these
Geocities
locations.
website.
Yeah. I've read this on an Angel Fire website.
Yep. I know about this. Where did you guys have any like particular hot spots that you would go to, or
There were two places that we would always go to. One was Longbottom, which
okay.
was this church that was like you had to like hike through the woods to get to it. There was no road to it, and there was this old abandoned church. And the legend around it was that a preacher went mad and barred the door shut and set the place on fire and killed everybody in it. And you can tell the place was damaged by fire, and it's pretty much a shell now. But yeah, I had some good experiences there.
Okay, like what?
Like this is going to sound so cheesy, but when I was there, and I swear to god, I was not high, I was not drunk, I was 100% straight. So we're just standing there in the middle of the church, and I'm looking out one of the windows just towards the woods, and I see like a figure, just like a human shaped figure, no definition to it, just like a black outline of a person. And when I blinked, it gets closer. And every time I blinked, it would come closer until it was right outside the window, which wasn't super close to where we were. So I get kind of freaked out. And my boyfriend was standing next to me, and he's like, "Are you okay? You're breathing really funny." He's like, "You're breathing really fast." And I'm like, "I think we need to get out of here." And then right then, my other friend, he's on the other side of me, and he goes, "Did you just touch my back?" He's like,
Oh,
"Someone
no.
just grabbed my back." And I was like, "No, we were the only three people there." So we're like starting to walk away. And as we're walking away, you can hear chains being dragged through the woods.
Huh.
And I was like, "Guys, I don't think it's the church. I think it's the woods." And my boyfriend had been there before. This is my first time. And he goes, "Everybody says that." He says, "Every time I bring someone here, I don't tell them beforehand that I've been here." He goes, "I always want to see what their experiences are." And he goes, "And everybody says there's something in the woods."
So wait, so hold on. So this was like his place to bring chicks?
Yeah, kind of. And his friends. And his friends. Both.
He was like, who have you brought here? I'm not the first.
You told me I was.
Then you find out he tells everybody that they are.
Yeah.
Was this in North Carolina?
Yeah, it was in North Carolina. Mm-hmm.
Well, interesting, because I mean, you guys definitely have some of that Appalachian lore there.
Yep, and I looked for it. I'd read all the books, and
Mhm.
there's like Bigfoot like creatures that are
Mhm.
supposed to live in the Appalachian woods on the Blue Ridge Parkway, which was where I lived.
Yeah.
And so I would like drive down the parkway at night in the middle of the night, just scanning the sides of the road, hoping to see something. I never did. I tried looking for UFOs, staring up at the night sky. Never saw one. I was like,
Oh.
"God damn it."
It's because they know you're looking for them. That's what it is.
And they're like, "We're not here for your amusement."
Right. They're like, fuck that. That's it'll happen. It'll happen to everybody else in your life, just not you. You're like, damn it, that could have been me. Your husband will be outside one day. He'll be like, oh my God, get out here and look at this. And you'll run out and it's gone.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because he's the big skeptic. He's the one who thinks I'm crazy.
Oh, he's not into it.
No, not at all. And not just the paranormal stuff. Like, my husband's an atheist, and I'm an atheist now. But I didn't used to be. I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
There it is, Pato. That's the bait and switch right there.
So, are you ready to hear a defense for why we don't necessarily need religion, but why it's useful?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I know Eddie has this hardlined, absolutely not. It's magical thinking and it's hurting humanity instead of helping it. Here's the converse side of that. Most of us here are intelligent, sometimes highly intelligent people.
Mhm.
And we can handle things on our own, but not everybody can. I would say the majority of people wouldn't really be able to handle things on their own, and that's okay. Everybody has different abilities. So what if they think that their ability to get over their addiction comes from God? Who is that hurting?
True. That's
Like,
true.
and also, I know religion is a manifestation of humanity's, want and need for something to guide them. They want to think that they're immortal. It's man-made, so it's flawed. Anything else that you could make to replace that is going to be flawed and going to be exploited by the assholes around them. It doesn't matter what it is, that's just people.
That's true. That's a good point. Pato, what do you think about that?
I want to ask about Jehovah's Witness stuff if I can for
Yeah,
like
go
5
ahead.
minutes. Can I get 5
all the
minutes then?
time. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
This
As
is
much
new
as
to
you
me,
want.
so-
All right. So what is it called again? Like, is it the hall? What is it where you guys
The
meet?
Kingdom Hall.
Kingdom Hall. Okay. Did you you were raised in the faith or whatever?
No. I was raised in
Okay.
like a horribly abusive household. Jehovah's Witnesses they actually helped me, not because they helped me find God or anything, but because they were the first people I met who were not total shitheads.
So how did you come across them?
A friend I met them in college, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses," and I was like, I never actually talked to one. Let me talk to you. And as I learned more, I was like, I actually like this.
So I just assume from what you've been saying that you're about my age. So this would have been like early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. Yep.
Okay. And what was it like, what was their media like when you were, when you would, because they have Jehovah's Witness movies
Yeah.
and literature, and they have like their own media that they create. What was it like going through so much of your life being experienced, being like having experience with secular media, and then now you're taking in like this Jehovah's Witness stuff. Like, what was that a point of contention when you're like, man, I used to watch the shit out of Fight Club. Like, I know this shit's cheesy, or was it so? Was it something that did its value override that?
Yeah, the value overrode it. It was like, I know it's cheesy. I know it. I know, like, these people aren't terribly good actors. You know, this is clear. I mean, obviously, it's written with an agenda. Like,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
really trying to hide that. There's no subtext here. But no, it's but you when you're like, they're always learning, they're always teaching. And so when you're learning while they're teaching through the movies and stuff, you're like, this is nice. I mean, to me it was always just like a nice break because it was peaceful, it was calm, it was loving. It wasn't people screaming at each other. It wasn't people going out of their way to screw someone over just because they cut them off in a lane or something, it was, to me it was like not even necessarily the religious side of it, but the moral side of it, where it was like, yes, the world is a shitty place, but that doesn't mean you have to be.
And this friend that like kind of got you into it, it was a female?
No, it was a guy.
Okay, because I was gonna say they have a more traditional view of gender roles.
Oh yeah, it's very
Yeah,
conservative.
so that's why I was wondering, is like you being a female college student, how that went over.
So what happened was, and this is standard, I was like, okay, well, I do want to learn more. I'm like, can you
Uh,
teach me? And he's like, well, I can't, because then we'd be a guy and a girl alone together that are not married, and that's not allowed.
mhm,
Like, if you go out on a date, you are chaperoned every step of the way.
mhm,
And so they're very conservative. So I was like, well, okay, that's fine. I mean, I can learn from anyone, doesn't necessarily have to be you. And so there was like a couple who were like missionaries, and what Jehovah's Witnesses call pioneers. It's when
mhm,
you go out in service, like when you go from door to door
mhm,
and that stuff, like that's what they do as their full-time job, even though they get a stipend, but they can't live off those wages. They work part-time and then they get a stipend from going out in service, but going out in service is like 60 hours a week.
mhm.
And so like they taught me, and it was this married couple who were like probably in their 30s.
Wow, interesting. So was one of them in college and that's how you met, through like a class, or?
Yeah, yeah, my friend, we were in a class together, and we would just strike up, conversations and stuff, and between classes, and it just got on religion, and I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Was he majoring in like construction or like urban
No.
development or something? What was his major?
No, it was actually a pretty big bone of contention in the congregations, all the congregations, because, you know, more and more people are going to college, and Jehovah's Witnesses, it's changing, and it may have changed drastically because this was a long time ago. Were pretty harsh against college,
Mhm.
which should have been a red flag right there when
Well,
they're
that's
like,
why a lot of them run like construction companies where they hire inside themselves, like
yeah, because they're like, we don't trust anyone but other Jehovah's Witnesses.
right, and they hire their kids in that way. They don't have to worry about education. It's like, and you're like underpaid as a laborer too, so they can do these construction projects that are like they can underbid bigger companies because they'll be Jehovah's Witnesses and they'll come in and they're using a bunch of laborers that are all from the church that they're paying fucking pennies on the dollar to, compared to what you would do like a union electrician or plumber or something. And you just have like so and so's cousin who's pretty good with electric, you know. And in some cases, I'm not saying that that's what it is
Yeah,
across the board.
I mean, I didn't experience that, but it's not like I knew everybody's private lives.
Yeah, so how did my one last question is that the other big thing I know about the Jehovah's Witnesses is that they are very strict in the 144,000, or they used to be, at least. That was kind of
Yes.
what defined them as a religion, is that there will be 144,000 people that are saved and that will go to heaven. And
Yeah.
obviously, the more you think about that, the more problematic that gets. And why would you spend so much time missioning the people that might take your spot out of one of those 144,000?
Well,
So
that's
how,
kind of against the Christian nature, isn't it, Pat? If you're saying I shouldn't do this because someone else could get my spot, you should congratulate them for getting your spot.
well, no, the whole thing is goofy. So how do they reconcile that number? Because obviously, I know they don't hold fast to that number anymore. So what was the rhetoric around that?
Oh man, that's complicated. It's to really to really I can't get in too much in the nitty-gritty because there's math involved and I would have to like beef up on it. But and so oh fuck. So the Jehovah's Witnesses view the Bible as a whole. It was I know it was they know it was written over time by different people, but it's all the word of God and he planned it so that you can read from Revelations and hop back to Genesis and hop to Isaiah and hop to Philippians, like, and it would all have the same message. Like, I'm not arguing this. This is what Jehovah's Witnesses believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a combination of, I want to say, the book of Isaiah and the book of Revelations. There were two different prophecies of people, because this is another thing that people don't know about Jehovah's Witnesses is they don't believe in hell. And they don't believe that when you die, you go to heaven, which is hugely different from pretty much
Yeah.
every other denomination of Christianity. And they'll go at like, okay, so if you go to the Hebrew word for quote unquote hell, it's like Shelah or something like that, but it's the common grave of mankind. Jehovah's
Right.
Witnesses believe, like Jewish people do, when you die, you just die. It's like unplugging a light bulb, you're just gone. But unless you're one of the 144,000, which was combined from people described in two different prophecies. I can't do the math, I'm sorry.
No, it's 12. There's the 12 tribes of Israel, and it was 12,000 people from each. If you do 12 times 12, you get
Okay, that's it
144.
then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
has
real
that been
rusty.
fulfilled?
No, well, that's just it. According to Jehovah's Witnesses, when you fulfill the 144,000, that's when Armageddon happens.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and the countdown didn't start until Jesus was died and reborn. Was killed and
Died,
was
yeah.
reborn. Yeah, he was died. So it's 144,000 Christians from the time when Jesus was resurrected until the end of quote unquote days, like when Armageddon happens.
But is it like, so like you said, that they think that the light bulb just kind of goes off. So like if like I were to die, right? Even if there's a spot, I may not necessarily get that spot still if I were a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It's only available for Christians who were, if you like converted now and you had the Holy Spirit come upon you and you knew for certain that you were one of the anointed, that's what they're called, the anointed, then you'd go to heaven. But then if you weren't, then you would just die and you would be resurrected after Armageddon on a perfect paradise.
So that's why they mission so hard, because if I'm not one of the 144,000, maybe I can bring someone else to the light who's going to be one of the 144,000. And in any case, we're trying to hasten Armageddon by finding these 144,000 perfect souls throughout the sum total of humanity post the crucifixion of Christ. So it's getting to that number. The reason that it's not that like saying everybody that dies gets counted among that number. It's only the creme de la creme count towards
Yeah.
that number. And that number it's like a countdown, right?
Yeah,
And
it is.
then when we finally hit that 144, then the whole thing busts open and all of the lesser people will be taken back up as well. That makes perfect sense.
No, you don't go to heaven. You never go to heaven.
So the people where the light bulb goes out, but you're resurrected after Armageddon.
Yeah, on Earth, on a paradise Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
After Armageddon happens and
after Armageddon
done,
happens, yep. And there's no
Right.
hell, so don't worry. The worst thing that will happen is you'll just disappear. That's it.
And then, but do you live forever after you're resurrected on the paradise?
You do. You live.
Oh,
You
okay.
live forever, and you're physically perfect.
So,
I've never had that happen.
so pretty much heaven, but a heaven on earth.
Heaven on earth, basically. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know any of this. I don't know about Jehovah's Witnesses.
It's so
that's
funny
very
how
interesting.
many people don't know about Jehovah's Witnesses, even though they literally come to your door to talk about you.
I read their
Right.
shit. Number one, I read their shit. Number two, I watch their movies when I see them on. And I talk about it on the show a lot. But one of my favorite podcasts is the Boys Bible Study, and it's a weekly podcast where they look at different movies in faith-based media, and sometimes they look at the bigger budget, like Kevin Sorbo, Kirk Cameron movies. But sometimes they'll look at like shot on video Jehovah's Witnesses movies, and a lot of these you can find on God Bless them Tubi, and some of them are even on Amazon Prime.
I did not know
So,
that.
yeah,
Well,
so
you can also get them for free if you go to
the
their
Kingdom
website.
Yeah.
They're all free. That's a big thing with Jehovah's Witnesses. The truth of God has to be free. You can take donations, but you cannot sell it. You can't sell Bibles, you can't sell tracts. Like, that's very big no-no, because that would be corrupting the message. You're
Sure.
not supposed to profit off of the name of God.
Well, that's pretty genuine. You can't hate that, right?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons I liked it. And I looked at other denominations of Christianity. Just got Baptists off the bat right there, because my mom, who was a horrible person, had an affair with a married preacher who was Baptist, and
Yeah.
it was really fucking awkward, and it really showed like how fucking hypocritical they were.
Yeah. My
I was, like,
foster
immediately
family
done,
owned a
no.
Baptist church, so I know.
They're horrible. They
Yeah, they're
really
fucking
are.
terrible people. Yeah.
I'm a very even-tempered person, but I hate Baptists.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Catholics are just weird. They believe the weirdest fucking shit.
It is the most. That's how I was raised, but it is the most. I mean, well, no, you're a fan of magic. I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
lends itself to it.
Oh, I love the pageantry of it.
Yeah, it's definitely the most ritualistic of the denominations.
And
And it,
Lutherans are just like a hop and a skip away from being Catholic. I know, my dad's Lutheran.
well, my wife is, and that's kind of what we practice now. And I got to go with Theo Von. I don't trust anybody that wears shorts to church, and it's crazy. Growing up Catholic, where we always wore like khakis and a polo every Sunday, and we kneeled, and I was like 2 generations away from when they were speaking Latin in the Catholic Church, and now I go to a Lutheran service where my kid goes to school, and I do the streaming service for them and everything. And like, there's people wearing Hawaiian shirts and shorts. Everyone's in sandals and flip flops. It's like so laid back. It's refreshing, because it's different, but it still feels weird sometimes. And also having not having priests around. Because I was an altar boy for a long
Yeah.
time, and I never got fucked. And I don't know what that says about me or them, but
Why? Weren't you good enough?
I guess
Confront them?
little did they know. Hey, man, they're fucking lost. But yeah, I was an altar boy, and so I'm used to that very like rigid, like the priest is like kind of the scary old guy that like isn't married, and then you switch to Lutheranism, and like I know the pastor's kids, and they all seem relatively normal. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
there's
I find
Dom,
the most benign to be Methodists and Presbyterians. Like, they're just like, whatever. Like, they're pretty benign.
my dad converted to Episcopalian after he got divorced because they were the only denomination that would take him. And I guess they have women pastors. They were the first to have the women pastors too. So I don't know much about Episcopalians, but I guess they're pretty liberal in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
are. They're very loosey goosey.
Yeah.
They kind of accept everyone.
So you said that you're now agnostic, is what you
Atheist.
atheist. I'm sorry. Aren't they the same thing? I'm just kidding. But you and your husband both share that view?
Yeah, and I was married to him when I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and he was an atheist, and everybody's like, how does that work? And I said, it's called respecting people.
We love each other. That's
Disagree on some pretty fundamental things and still respect the person and love them.
I mean, right, we're both going to die and our light bulb's going to go out, so what's it matter?
Yes, who cares? I'm not going to heaven or hell. I'm not worried about shit.
Right. And he's not either, so whatever. It's interesting. That is interesting. So what made you switch teams then?
From Jehovah's Witness to atheist?
Yeah.
Well, I realized, and it was from conversations with my husband, when, it's actually one of the tenets of Jehovah's Witnesses is you're supposed to question your faith every single day to make sure it's still strong. That's like one of the reasons going out in service is so important, because as people question you and you respond, you grow more certain in your faith. Like, it's actually like key to that. And
Okay.
and so we would talk about these things, and as time went on, and I was like, I just don't feel it. Like, I don't. Before, it used to be like I always knew in my gut there was a God. I just knew it. You could not tell me otherwise. Not that I liked him a whole lot, but I knew he was real.
Sure.
But as I got older, and I don't know, maybe I just mellowed out or something, I was like, I don't feel it anymore. And then I started really looking at the logic of it, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I don't believe there is a God. I don't believe there's a higher power. I don't believe there's a plan for anything. I was like, so I am denouncing my member as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that's a huge deal, because then they cut you completely out of their lives. I lost all my friends. Like, it was not pretty. The
That's interesting.
downside to Jehovah's Witnesses, disfellowshipping.
Are you allowed to come back?
It would take a long time, but yeah. If I went there, like if I showed up,
Yeah.
no one would be allowed to talk to me. No one.
Wow.
I
Okay.
would be sat like by myself, and no one could like be close to me, and I would sit there and listen, and then I would leave. And then the elders, because there's body of elders, there's no like one leader, it's a council of elders. Then they would send someone after a few visits to be like, are you interested in coming back? And then there's a whole process to it.
Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to like prove your allegiance again, that you are strong in your faith.
Yeah, you would have to be like, are you serious? Because they don't want to corrupt the congregation with those
Well,
outside thoughts.
I mean, why do people hate Jehovah's Witnesses? I guess I'm not understanding.
I don't know either.
Because they
I
knock
think
on
it's
your
because they
door?
don't know, and I think there's a lot of like people who are told things about Jehovah's Witnesses that aren't true.
I think they're just a butt of a lot of jokes because they show up on your doorstep. So like people and kids are kind of taught by their parents, oh don't talk to them, don't let them in, don't answer the door. They'll go away. Oh, those annoying Jehovah's Witnesses are here. And then as they grow up, they kind of are the same way towards them. Um I always take their literature and offer them a bottle of water, and I'll read what they give me. Like, I don't care. I have a collection of chick tracts that I've collected over the years that I find, and I like that stuff. I'm If I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I would necessarily. I might regret this decision, but there's a part of me that would have really liked to have gone to college to be like a biblical scholar, to really like research all that stuff and read it and take into context when it was written, the cultures of where mankind was at the time. You know what I mean? I
Well,
find that
that's actually how Jehovah's Witnesses started, is
yeah,
because someone was translating a Bible and realized that the translations were bad. And they were like, so they found the oldest source, which the oldest, most complete sources, obviously. Some of it's only tertiary accounts, like grandsons of disciples or whatever, like, because just time has erased all. And they've translated those using the oldest, not the oldest ways that they could, and then they would take into account, like, well, at the time period when they were speaking this language, they would have used this word, not this word.
right.
And so, like, that's actually how Jehovah's Witnesses started, was because someone was like, this isn't right. Like, why are we just repeating stuff and not actually looking into it?
Yeah, and I know a lot of the scrolls that they translated this stuff from, you can see where sometimes they had written one word and then somebody else, a
Over
couple,
time, yeah.
had scratched it out and written something else in. So then you have to negotiate between those two things. And why did, and the rule of thumb is the shorter is usually the correct, because we have a tendency, as we repeat stories through time, to make them longer, not shorter, right? So we add more details, we don't take them away. And so sometimes they'll see different accounts of different scrolls that were written at different times, or they'll try to figure out which one was the earlier version, and usually it's the shorter one. And then, as like with the game of telephone, after a couple of generations, you find another version of Abraham, and this one has extra details thrown in. Well, this is probably the later one, right? Um, all that stuff is really fascinating when you look at the way that it shapes humanity.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah. It's a huge one, especially like the different the versions of the Bible. Like
yeah,
they're all used by Jehovah's Witnesses because they're like people have this in their house. And when you look in this Bible, this is where you'll find it. Like
sure.
they train you how to do this shit, and they're huge into studying. Like you have Bible studies with the congregation, you have Bible studies with your Bible study group, and you have your personal Bible study. And you are supposed to read the Bible on top of the Bible studies every single day. And when you're done finishing reading the Bible, you start over again. Start from the beginning, work your way down. Like it is very intensive, which
Wow.
is one of the reasons why I liked it. Well, one of the reasons I liked it so much.
Very interesting. I didn't expect this conversation to go in this direction, but
Oh, and speaking of translations, Jehovah, in case people were like, well, why is the name Jehovah's Witnesses? Jehovah is the name of God. It's
Anybody that saw Last
Yahweh.
Crusade knows
Yeah.
that. Come on, we
Well, I
all
mean,
know.
yeah, but
And
a
we
lot of
know we
people,
spell it with an I first, because when Indiana Jones tries to step on the J, he almost falls through the floor.
yep, and that's
Yep.
why another big thing, Jehovah's Witnesses don't use crucifixes because they said if your friend is murdered by a gun, why would you hang a gun around your neck?
yes, exactly. That doesn't make any
No,
sense.
crucifixes are definitely a Catholic thing. Crosses are multi-denominational,
Yeah, but
but
no crosses either because
no,
they're
yeah,
in the
same point.
translation it wasn't a cross, it was a storos, which is different.
What's the Storos?
A story, so the traditional crucifixion with the nails through the hands and the feet, or they'd be tied and their legs would be broken. A
Hmm.
storos is when your hands are tied above your head and they would break your legs. And that's what well, big thing about Jesus being the Christ, the savior, is the fact that his legs weren't broken. That's part of the prophecy that came true, was the fact that his legs weren't broken. Instead, he had his hands nailed above his head, like like if you're tied up and your hands are tied together and above your head,
But they're
like
nailed
that.
instead of tied.
Yeah, but they're nailed.
Are
Yeah,
you
And
only
was that
for his
because of
wrist.
no broken bones or something, or
Yeah, they're in the. I want to say it's the Book of Isaiah again. There's a lot of prophecy there,
no? That's
where
what, primarily what it is. Yeah.
and like yeah, they said that he had to have been born in a certain Jerusalem because there was two different Jerusalems. He had to be born at a certain time, and he did, which also Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Christmas or any other religious holidays because they're pagan. There are no
Mhm.
religious holidays in the Bible other than Passover, which is
And
what
then you guys
Jehovah's
don't get
Witnesses
birthdays
celebrate.
either, right?
No birthdays because that's also
Yeah.
pagan. Anything that has even the slightest hint of paganry to it, like they're
oh
like,
no.
no, never.
But you dabble in some of that now, don't you?
Well, I mean, I do celebrate Christmas and of course Halloween. It's always been my favorite.
I meant paganism in general. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be
No, not
wrong about
really. I
that. No, not
don't.
really. Okay.
I mean,
Fair.
I like to read up on it. I study it just because I think it's really interesting, but I don't practice it.
Sorry, I'll refrain from accusing you of being a witch on my show. I don't know why I thought that you did. I'm not sure where that came from, but that's why you hold this idea opposite of Eddie.
I have a lot more sympathy for people who are religious. It's like majority of people in the world, most Christians, they don't give a fuck what you do in your spare time. They're not going to do it themselves. It's just that you get this very vocal minority that gives everybody a bad name. Same as with atheists. You always get those asshole atheists that make
Oh
everybody feel
yeah.
like a shithead for thinking differently than them. You're just an asshole. It doesn't mean you're enlightened. You're just a jack off.
Yeah, just super edgy atheist.
Ricky Gervais is kind of insufferable at times. And I love comedians and I love dissenting opinions and I love calling people out on their bullshit, but I hate edgelords. And I think that, yeah, he kind of crosses into that territory sometimes, and
Yeah, it's like
it's
it's
cringy.
fine. Just leave them alone. They're going to leave you alone, majority of them. We all know the truth that they don't always do and they fuck things up for everybody else, like always happens.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't ever really think about people's beliefs. I don't care what people believe in. And I've said that before. I don't care what you do, just don't hurt other people. Like that's my
Yeah,
go-to. And I don't know what anybody would call that. And I don't care what anybody calls it. I don't know what happens when you die. I don't
it's just
care.
called being a good person.
Fair
There are
enough. I'll
some
take it.
basic rules of human decency that we all should follow, regardless of who you
Yeah.
think the magical person in the sky is.
Yes, or whatever. Or if you don't think there's one, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter to me.
it
I don't
doesn't
care.
matter.
To me, I just that doesn't it just doesn't enter my life. I don't sit around and think about what my religious beliefs are. But I do practice a degree of spiritualism, and I think that probably confuses a lot of people. And whatever. I just say I'm a witch because then people get the idea, but not really, because I don't follow a lot of pagan beliefs or anything like that.
I think I might have told you this before, but I had a friend in college who was raised a Wiccan, and she became a Christian to rebel against her parents.
Maybe that's why I thought that you dabbled some.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who do.
Yeah, and I believe that. Yeah. Oh, I believe a lot of people do get into this stuff just because it's different and it's cool. Again, edgelords. And I hate them. When you go on something like witch talk, oh my gosh, when you're an actual person that actually does these things, you hate to see the people that are like just dumb about magic and like how that works. And it's just cringy. It makes you cringe.
Yeah, kind of like when people are like, well, Christians are like this. They think this. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about, clearly.
Right.
Or the
Yes.
Bible says this. And I'm like, well, I can actually show you where it disagrees with that and why it disagrees with that. Here, let me hand you some tracks. Would you like me to set up a time for us to discuss this in a public area?
But there's also this version of the Bible that says this. So I mean, I know what I know, man. Do what you
Exact.
do.
And then I go, well, if you look at through this reference here and you find the Hebrew word for this, because they have those too, where you can cross reference.
And see, and I can appreciate that, because as a researcher, when I research things, I kind of research it backwards. I kind of go back to the absolute beginning of where I can find this information,
Yeah,
and
you
then I
get the
can start
purest
there.
source you can.
Right. And then you start there. So I understand that, and it's frustrating because it's like, no, I can't just explain Mothman to you in a couple of paragraphs. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
work that way.
I'm sorry that you saw something on atheist Twitter and you thought it was clever and you said it and I disagreed with you, and now you're just saying that I'm just an ignorant Christian, which I'm not a Christian. You're just fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know what you're talking about.
Jesus. That's why I try not to get into religion, because it's just not there's just too many people that want to fight about it, and
We've
I
done
don't wanna
2
fight about
episodes
it.
in a month about it, so I
oh,
mean,
Yep.
right.
Well, you
Yeah.
picked the wrong people.
yeah,
Very
those
good.
people that you let in from the horror movie podcast
I know.
had alternative agendas that you were not prepared for.
We haven't even talked about horror movies with either of them.
Well, we never know what our guests are going to talk about, right? We
That's
just
true. I do this on purpose. I like to not pick a topic, because then it's a surprise. Today I learned about Jehovah's Witnesses, and I won't
Yeah.
forget it. So, and and our listeners did too. So that's
Well,
not terrible.
have you seen
Uh,
any horror movies in the meantime that you've been like, wow, I really like that?
That's a good question. Pato, have you actually? Yeah, I was talking last week. I said that I watched Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
loved that movie. I thought it was very clever, satirical. Like, I thought it was very well written.
It's a
Like,
good time.
you had to get past the characters because they're all assholes and they're all supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
think the problem for a lot of people is that we are the problem. When the chick was like, "But I have a podcast," I was like,
Yes.
"Oh shit, I am the problem."
I think they wrote that bit just for you, Candace.
I would like to hear, just briefly stalking Candace's Twitter before we recorded today. I would like to hear your 2 cents on Blood and Honey, because when that movie was released, I heard nothing but bad things, so I kind of forgot about it. Haven't seen it since, and then actually the Thursday night I do a gaming live stream called Welcome to the Grindhouse, and we were talking about public domain, and someone brought up Blood and Honey, and I completely forgot in my mind that this thing existed. And the other people on the show with me were like, "Wow, that looks crazy. I have to see it." And I'm like, "I heard it sucks though." And
It's not even like a good bad.
so yeah, I guess fill us in a little bit. Like, what's because is it redeeming at all, or is it just like, man, is it long?
It's long. It's only an hour and a half, but it felt like forever. By the end of it, I was
Yeah.
looking at my phone. I was so disinterested in what was happening. Like
Wow.
the biggest sin that it did is a lot of its gore was CG.
Hmm.
And
It
it's like,
was.
oh, shame, goddamn shame. And then also, like, I give it points because it's an exploitation film, and I love those. It is literally the definition. They had this puppy rolling because they knew
Right.
that was getting ready, the copyright was getting ready to go up. So they got it rolling, and they did the cheapest cash grab they possibly could based on the name, so they could be the first one to do it, so everybody would be talking about it. So, I mean, give them points for that. And some of the kills
Sure.
were solid. Like, but it was so crazy. It's in England. Everybody has British accents, but for some reason they go to this gas station, and the gas station attendant, the harbinger, is like, "Y'all can't be around here." I'm like, "The fuck are you doing?" That was a choice. And then they come back, the dude comes back with his posse of good old boys at the end of the movie. And it was like, what? And they all have southern, well, trying to have southern accents. I was like, what are you doing? They're like, you can't be around these parts. Y'all ain't welcome here. It's like, what?
Are they defenders of the Thousand Acre Woods? What's the what?
They saw a scared girl covered in blood screaming. So they get her and they're like, you can be all right, little girl. It's going to be okay. And then Pooh comes out of the woods and, he looks fucking stupid. They literally didn't even make their own mask. They bought the masks from a website. And
Are
they
you
don't even
serious?
have all of them. It's only Piglet and Pooh.
Well, I
Yeah.
heard there's certain characters that aren't public domain yet. So like Tigger and stuff like that will be public domain in another couple of years because of when they were introduced. It's not
Next
like
year.
yeah, was that it? That like
Yeah, they're becoming public domain next year, and then they're going to make a sequel.
wow. So
So wait, so Pat, did you not see it?
no, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, really? I've seen it.
Yeah,
And I think
also, it's
Candace,
supposed to be in the UK, and she has a fucking handgun. She
oh
has a
yeah,
handgun that
you're
she
right.
conveniently forgets about for half the movie.
Well, I thought it was a British production. Is it not a British production?
I don't know. Everybody in it is British, and it was actually filmed in the real 100-acre woods. I think it's like Ashdown Forest or something like that is the name of it.
So everyone's British except for the good old boy mob.
Oh, they were British. They were just
Oh, they
trying
were
to
just
not
doing.
be.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right.
They were British. It is very so. Like I kind of liked it, but I kind of liked it because of exactly what Candace said in her tweet. Candace said, "I already knew it was a piece of shit, so I wasn't disappointed."
I just didn't realize how much of a piece of shit it was.
Yeah, I can't tell at what point I'm at, or if my expectations are so low that I'll find it at least mildly entertaining, or if I'm where Candace is at in that tweet where it's like my expectations were not low enough to fucking salvage this.
My daughter really liked it.
It
Yeah,
had some solid kills in it.
It did.
Like, it did
Yeah.
have some where I was like, ooh, that was good.
It
So
was
it's got
interesting.
points there.
But it's not Winnie the Pooh. Like, so it's not it's Winnie the Pooh, but it's not Winnie. Like, it's clearly a dude in a Winnie the Pooh mask, and that's who the killer is. Not Winnie the Pooh is the killer. A guy in a Winnie the Pooh mask is the killer.
And they're supposed to be it's supposed to be this hybrid human bear
Right.
hybrid.
And just my brain can't separate that and go, oh yeah, that's Winnie the Pooh. Like,
wait a minute. So the explanation isn't Christopher Robin in it?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
So
I'll explain it.
But he thinks Winnie the Pooh is real.
No, hold on.
All right.
So Christopher Robin takes his girlfriend out to go meet his friends when he was a kid, which is Pooh and Friends, right? And he gets out there. Well, Christopher Robin's been gone forever. Okay. And it tells you all this right in the beginning of the movie with actually a really sweet animation segment is really good.
Yeah, it had really good animation. And the narrator's voice was way better than anybody else's.
Right. It starts off real hard and you're like, oh shit, this is going to be really good. And then it just lets you down. It starts off at the top of the hill.
It does.
You just go down. So the story is that it tells you Christopher Robin was there, then he left and he wasn't feeding them anymore. And then because of that, they ended up cannibalizing Eeyore. Okay. So right off the rip, we know Eeyore's not there. Yeah.
It sounds great, right? You're like,
Right.
I'm into this.
And then somehow this has morphed them into being beasts. So they're not the cute little animals anymore. Now they're like these weird beastly creatures. And so then
beastly creatures being big boys with masks on.
Yeah, big boys with masks. Yeah, that's what it is. And then Christopher Robin's in it. His girlfriend dies or whatever. She dies like right away. And like, he's in it the whole movie. But then eventually it breaks off into about this group of women that's like on a fucking vacation or something, and then like they get caught up in it and they're not even related, but he is in it the whole movie.
The trailer that we showed on Welcome to the Grindhouse, it must have been like the last trailer or something, of the post-release trailer, because it showed the chicks in the house plot.
Because they're your protagonists, really. I mean, they're your main characters.
I was like, okay, so at some point it just becomes a slasher movie with people in the house and the bad guys trying to get in or whatever. And, okay,
right. And so I mean, and then that's what it is. I mean, the whole Well, and then like one of the girls. Oh my god, you guys haven't done this on Bloody Bits, have you? Are you going to?
And I don't think we're going to know because we're going to the 90s.
That's true. You're going to the 90s. That's right. Because like, isn't one of the girls like she's got this weird past where like she had like a stalker or something?
She had a stalker. And she's traumatized by it. Clearly, she has PTSD, but that has nothing to do with anything in the movie.
With anything. Yeah.
And you're right. It is really bad. There's these two girls who are in a relationship, and one of them wants to move forward, and the other one doesn't. They mention it one time that they're in a relationship that might be on the rocks, and then that never gets touched on again.
You have no connection to any of these people in this movie.
No, and then they just keep throwing people out into the movie.
Right, then rednecks show up, and then... But you only have Pooh and Piglet. It doesn't explain where everybody else is. It does explain where Eeyore is. Eeyore's dead. They had to eat Eeyore, and we know that, but we don't know where everybody else is. Now, breaking the fourth wall, coming out of that, if you dug into it a little bit, we know that like Tigger's not in it and Rabbit's not. They're not in it because they're not in the public domain. Just Pooh and Piglet are.
But there's no explanation in the movie.
No, they don't.
So you're like, well, where are they?
Yeah. And it's just a fucking guy in an ugly Winnie the Pooh mask and a guy in a pig mask.
Yep.
Killing people. Yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Did either of you check out that Pinocchio movie that came out around the same time that this came out?
Was it a horror movie?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know there was a new one. There was one back in the 90s that I watched that was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, there was like a new... Well, I guess I don't know if it came out or not. I just remember hearing about it at the time. And then there was also the Grinch horror movie. Did it come out?
It did come out, but oh man, it came out in theaters briefly, but it's not going to hit streaming until like next year because I want to see it. It's got the dude who plays the dude from Terrifier. Shit, what is his name? Art the Clown. It's got Art the Clown as playing the Grinch. Why wouldn't you want to see that?
That's cool.
Just for that alone.
I hope he like takes off his Grinch skin and he's Art underneath.
Oh, that's what the sack is filled with? It's his garbage bag?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be sweet. But there was like this was like a thing for a minute, was like resurrecting these like childhood favorites and like making them horror. That's why I remember like the Pinocchio thing came, there is a Pinocchio movie. Maybe it didn't come out. But that was like, there was Winnie the Pooh, the Pinocchio, and then the Grinch were all kind of like coming out at the same time.
Yeah, because like all the copyrights are coming up on these. Like Bambi's coming out next year. Bambi the Revenge, I think it's called.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's going to be from the director of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh my god! So it's
and
not
there's
gonna be
a
good.
sequel to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey coming up too.
Yeah, and the sequel's supposed to include the other characters. I suppose there will be no explanation still why they suddenly pop up.
Why they pop up? Yeah, don't plan on it.
Right, and where they were before, but we'll see those great costumes. I'm sure of it. But well, he's probably got more money now that this one's come out to throw at it. I hope.
I think this is a company. From what I saw, this is a company that does it all the time. It's like an asylum. where they
Oh.
just constantly put out these cheap cash-in horror movies.
Why did this one get so much attention? Because it's Winnie the Pooh?
Because it's Winnie the Pooh and it was the first one, and so they were hyping it like crazy.
I mean, I wish it was like genuine cuddly Winnie the Pooh going, "Oh bother," and then stabbing the shit out
Not
of you.
once does he say, "Oh bother."
Not once. Not
Yep.
one time.
Once
Does he talk
get
at all?
stuck in anything?
No, he doesn't talk. Does he talk at all? He doesn't. Does he?
He talks at the very end, but he does not say, "Oh bother."
No, he doesn't. There's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's a crime. This movie's a crime.
There is honey
There is honey and blood,
and
and
blood.
it does get mixed together.
It does. Oh, it's so
it doesn't
bad.
lie to you.
You know, and people were mad about it because they're like, we shouldn't take childhood things and make them horrible. Why not?
Oh, whatever. That's
Why shouldn't
fun.
we?
That's like one of the funnest things to do is to, soil something sacred.
Well, don't we take horror icons and make like little chibi drawings and shit of them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why can't
This
we do
is
the
my
opposite?
spoopy Jason.
Right.
Oh, I remember having like Aliens action figures and RoboCop action figures toys growing up. Like, how are you going to make RoboCop toys? Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing about RoboCop that was like appropriate for a kid that age.
There was a
Like
Toxic Avenger cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Toxic Crusaders, yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was really good. That was really, really good. I own that on DVD, I think. Toxic Crusaders was good. And that, I don't think I knew what the Toxic Avenger was from USA Up All Night, but I don't think I realized how insane it was that this was a cartoon.
For children.
Right. But they did the whole thing, like they made, like, they gave him a gang and there was different other toxic guys, and it was wittier, it was a little bit smarter than your average cartoon. Like, they kind of knew they were in a cartoon sometimes. It was a little meta. Lloyd Kaufman was in it. I think that's what the mayor of Tromaville looks like, is Lloyd Kaufman. That
Of
was a really
course.
good cartoon. Yeah.
We've said it before, and we'll say it again. We are Lloyd Kaufman positive show. So
Oh, yes, definitely. May he live forever.
yes, please. That would be. That's all I want. Jesus from Jesus is.
Please, Jesus, don't kill Lloyd Kaufman.
God, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and Lloyd Kaufman's gonna be trending. I'm like,
Oh, God. I feel so horrible.
No, yeah, we just can't praise the man enough. And Trauma, of course, is great. But yeah, I don't know why people take such an issue with things like that. But you seem to have again, we'll kind of go back into your horror movie taste. You just kind of grew up on horror. Was that kind of your escape
Oh,
from
yeah.
your reality? Or I mean,
It was like I don't know if it was because of the really hard time I had growing up, and I was like, I see the darkness in me in this, and so it just makes it easier to handle. I don't know if I was raised different, if I would still love horror. I think I would, because ever since I can remember, I've always gravitated towards the darker side.
Mhm.
Like when my family was trying to get me to not be into horror, they're like, you can only get books that are like The Babysitter's Club.
Oh,
And I was like, okay, well, here's the Halloween one that has a witch. This is the one I'm picking.
sure. Absolutely. Was it difficult to get access to horror media?
Oh, yeah, it was really difficult. I mean, not because my family was stopping me. I had zero parental guidance. But just, it was the 90s. It was the
Right.
80s and the 90s. Like, you just couldn't get stuff easily if you lived in the middle of nowhere. There was no internet. So I was like, watch stuff that I could get. I didn't have cable, and I didn't have
Right.
satellite. So
Oh,
it was like
okay.
whatever edited versions came on TV was the versions that I watched. And this was my coming of age story. Then one of my sister's boyfriends went to a garage sale and got just this huge stack of VHSs, and each one of them had 3 to 4 horror movies on them.
Oh, they
And
were
it
like
was
recorded.
everything they taped. Yeah, it was recorded off of like HBO or Cinemax or Showtime or whatever, because the
Oh,
little
that's
logo
so
would pop
awesome.
up in the bottom. So I had like just a scatter shot of Friday the 13th movies, Halloween movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Howling movies, like the Subspecies movies, just everything. Carrie, like the one-offs. It wasn't all like franchises. Like Silent Night, Deadly Night. I was like 9 years old watching Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, that was one of the nice things about the 80s is that you would inherit somebody somewhere figured out how to hook up two VCRs together, and they would either record stuff off cable or record stuff from Blockbuster. They'd rent movies and make copies, and you would get these dubs that would have 2-3 movies on them. And I had one that had Raiders of the Lost Ark, Stripes, and Jaws, right?
Yeah, and now
Or
they're still your favorite movies, aren't they?
yeah, or Ghostbusters, E.T., and Beverly Hills Cop 2, and it was, you're right, you never had complete access to the whole set. I'm a big comic book nerd, and I say this about comic books all the time, is that, like, they didn't start trade paperbacking things until, like, the late 90s. Until then, like, you had to drive around and go to different comic book stores to get all the issues of a storyline.
Yeah, and hopefully you
And
got lucky and they weren't all sold out.
right. And like, so you would have some issue of when I was reading comic books growing up, I wouldn't have all of the X-Men comic books because it's not like my parents let me have a subscription to X-Men. I had, like some Chris Claremont run of X-Men. I had issue 5 of 7 that just
Yeah.
told the beginning of the third act of some story, and I had no idea what came before, no idea what was going to happen after, and I still treated it like it was treasured media. And
Yes, the Friday the 13th was like Friday the 13th part 3, 5, 7, 8, and Jason Goes to Hell. Like, I didn't actually watch a good one until I was in my 20s.
You're like, oh, I haven't seen the original yet.
It was like, what? Jason's not the killer? What the fuck?
Yeah, I bet that was shocking. I think my most prized VHS like that had it had Friday and Mortal Kombat and Joe's Apartment. Yeah.
That is a time capsule.
You're so little.
I wasn't that. No, I wasn't. I had VHS tapes, Pato. I remember the invention of DVD. As a matter of fact, my first DVD was 8 Mile.
That's what mine was Gladiator.
I think mine was Mallrats, probably.
Yeah, my second one was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, so that tells you the time. But no, I remember that. Yeah, what a gold mine that must have been to have, though. And especially very obscure stuff. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so so that really kicked my love of horror movies specifically, because I've been reading horror books. I was one of those precocious kids who was like, 10 years old reading Stephen King.
Yeah.
Like, I was one of those. Like, horror just saturated everything. If I was drawing a picture, it was probably a haunted house picture. If I was writing a story, it was a horror story. Like, I was a Goosebumps kid, everything.
Yeah.
But for movies, it was when I got those stacks of movies, and I just spent an entire sweaty summer on my like 12-inch, CRTV with my VHSs, watching all of these movies that I was way, way, way too young to be seeing.
And then you tell your friends, you're like, look what I got.
Yeah, when I started getting money, I'm like, ooh, let's go hit the $5 bargain bin at Walmart.
See what there is. And that's kind of, we don't like have that now. You know what I mean? You can just stream anything.
Everything is at the touch of your fingertips.
Right. You don't have the hunt anymore, so it's not as fun. But I have seen like YouTubers that will to this day go to garage sales and get those tapes just to see what's on them. And it is really interesting. Just kind of the mix of shit and the time capsules that they are, and
they're like little historical artifacts.
Right. It's really neat. And like, I don't know, my favorite part about them is like seeing the commercials, like, because people don't like, there's now this like push to preserve commercials, which is something
I watch those things on YouTube all the time.
It's like something that you didn't think that you'd miss, right? But here we are fucking willingly watching commercials on purpose.
Exactly. And I get mad when the YouTube commercials come on.
Right.
And then I'm like, skip, damn it, I want to watch more commercials.
Fuck these 2023 commercials. You're interrupting my commercials.
People are going to look back at Tumblr accounts and be like, look, this is what life was like in the far off year of 2022.
Remember this? Yeah. It's gonna be tons of fun. Do you have a favorite horror genre, or one that you typically tend to stick with more often?
Haunted houses. Like, if it's paranormal, I'm 100% more likely to watch it. Like, if I
Okay.
know that the killer or the threatening force is not of this earth, I'm like, yes, this is what I want. I, the super realistic, like, home invasion movies, I love those, but they're not necessarily my favorite. Like,
Okay. Yeah,
I'm kind
sure.
of in the minority because I like movies like The Conjuring or Insidious, real jump scare movies. Like, I love a good jump scare movie.
I don't think that's the minority at all. In fact, I feel like those are like what's driving horror now. I feel like those are really popular right now.
And I love it. I'm here for every minute of it.
This is like, that's fine. Do you have a favorite series right now, or maybe upcoming films that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh hell yeah!
Yes.
Yeah, I think that hopefully that is as good as it looks because the
Yeah.
trailer looks boss as hell.
Yeah. I haven't watched the trailer yet, but I've seen I've read articles about. I try not to watch trailers for movies because it gives it away, you know. Again, as someone that worked at a theater for forever, that was like the rule. You didn't watch the trailers because otherwise you know the whole movie. So for the most part, I try not to watch them. I'll watch like the teasers. Is that what this one is, or is it a full on trailer?
It's a full on trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
And
stick
I
to the
saw a
teasers.
trailer for The Nun too, and I was like, that looks really good. It looks like it's like thick and atmospheric with a ton of jump scares, right up my alley.
Yeah. Don't they have a new Insidious coming out, or did it come out already?
It did come out. It's gotten pretty good reviews where they're like, it's good, but it's not great. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'll just wait to stream it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just when you're a horror fan, you expect that the movies preceding the original are just not going to be as great.
Yeah.
You kind of learn. Is there a horror movie franchise that you feel like the sequels are better than the original?
The sequels, well, Friday 13th. I'm not a huge fan of the original, the OG Pamela Voorhees Friday 13th. I think it's very slow.
Fair. I think that's good. Pat, I'm just throwing out all these questions. Do you have anything?
Yeah, you can jump in anytime, Pat. Because I know an answer, but I cannot freaking think of it.
Of what?
Of franchises that got better, like where their continuations were better than the original.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, you think Nightmare on Elm Street, Pat?
Yeah, I don't
still
hold
think
that
the first one's the best one.
No, I wouldn't even. It's not even in my top 3. I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I don't know. Critters 2 is kind of like the Godfather 2.
That's
of
true.
horror
It's
movies.
better.
You know,
Yeah.
Critters 1 is decent, but Critters 2 is a goddamn masterpiece. What else? I don't know. Or the original. I don't know. The Friday the 13th movies, I don't hold those in that high regard. My first Friday the 13th movie was Jason Goes to Hell. I saw that in the theater when I was like in 8th grade or something, and that's kind of what I thought the franchise was.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize what a departure it was, and then to go back and watch basically the same movies 7 fucking times in a row. It never did anything for me. I like Jason X because he's in space, and that's something kind of new. And
I love Jason X.
Yeah, I don't fetishize the Friday the 13th movies. The Halloween movies, I really cannot. I don't care about. I don't want to say I can't stand them or I hate them. They're just like, why do I care about that? Yeah, for me, it's Nightmare is the superior franchise, and I mean, to rank those, you'd have to. I would put the third one. I love the second one. Second one might be my favorite, but New Nightmare is such a interesting, creative.
It was like the proto Scream.
Yeah, that like I have to put. I mean that New Nightmare is definitely above the first one, and then the second one I like because it's for kitsch value, and then but the 3 and 4 combo are really good too. I mean those are the action movie ones. The Frank Darabont, Rennie Harlan movies. Like,
oh yeah, I love those movies. Well, yeah. Yeah, I still have Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, as my number one. Like, I just can't top it for me. Like, that's one of those movies that scarred me as a child. So, I have a lot of nostalgia for it. And then, and this is controversial, number 4 is my number 2 favorite.
That is interesting.
That's solid. It's got the Dramarama song.
It's got that song, and it's got the where she's getting the powers, and so in the end
Yeah.
she's like a total badass, and it has the
Yeah.
cockroach death.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah, that's
definitely.
the best one.
And that chick's probably the hottest. I mean, not that we're gonna Nightmare on Elm Street movies live or die about hot chicks, but like, she was from Eight Is Enough, and that actress, that was what she was on before that movie, and yeah, she's really championed that. I like it.
For me, Nightmare on
'Cause it
Elm
was-
Street is can't do no wrong, except for the fucking 2010 remake. That was I just pretend
Ooh,
that doesn't
we don't
exist.
talk about that.
Yeah, right.
No one adds that in their rankings unless
Right.
they're one of those contrarian assholes. It's like, well, it's actually a pretty good movie. No,
Yeah.
it's
You know,
not.
the guy I do Y2K with Daniel, he liked that enough, and he made. I thought the same thing when I saw it. I'm like, this is fucking hot garbage. But we just rewatched Friday the 13th, 2009 for our show, and he was like, you should give the Nightmare on Elm Street remake another shot. And I'm like,
Yeah, the Friday the
maybe it's
13th
Jackie Earl
remake.
Hartley, or maybe Jackie Earl Hartley. Did I miss something there? Was it good and I just didn't notice? I don't
No,
know.
it was bad.
Yeah.
No, it was boring. That
It
was
was-
the
yeah.
biggest thing. It was boring.
That's
Well,
what I seem to remember too.
It's not just that. I like the 2009 Friday the 13th. I didn't mind it at all
I
because
like that movie too. I think people gave it a rough shot.
I do
That movie
too.
deserves a rewatch.
It's exactly what you expect it to be. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
I
you're
think
not going in for
people
anything different.
have too much of the rose-colored glasses when they look back at the Friday. Oh my god, I have stopped talking now. When they look back at the Friday the 13th movies, it's with too much nostalgia, and you need to admit that number 5 was a piece of shit, and that the remake is just as good as that one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like the remake, but Jason's different. You don't have to. Jason can be played by anybody. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be whoever. Doesn't have to be Kane Hodder, which I know isn't the original, but gosh, he's known for it. Whereas like Freddy, it just you can't replace him. I mean, imagine trying
Yeah.
to replace Ash Williams with somebody that's not Bruce Campbell. You fucking can't. Like, it's going to fail.
That was the best thing they did with the Evil Dead remake, was they didn't even touch that character.
Didn't even try. Right. Didn't
Yeah.
even try to do it. And that's the best decision that they could. And that movie was good.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It was just fine. Because you just can't capture lightning in a bottle like that twice. And when you have a character that speaks, I mean, that's just the way
That has so much personality.
Yeah. Right. And Freddie is all personality, and that's why people like him. That's, because he's a guy. He's funny. He's entertaining. He's somebody, he's not just the killer. And that's different than, like I said, whereas like Jason is just a body that kills
Yeah.
people.
He's just a big guy in a mask, in a hockey mask with a machete.
Yeah. Pretty much. I agree. I mean, Candace, my taste in movies, and usually they're not.
Yeah. Yeah, yours are very extreme.
Mine are very extreme. Very
Your idea of
extreme.
a comfort film, that's pretty weird.
It's pretty out there. But it's not the typical, somebody's asking the other day what my favorite horror movie is. I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't bring up the extreme horror. I'm like, I like really trashy horror that I can watch with a group of people and just shit all over. Like, that's my favorite.
Hey, that's valid.
The most obscure shit that you can think of. And sometimes they end up being good movies, but most of the time not. It's the experience, But I like normal movies too. Like I said, I like bodies. So it happens. But we did, when I came on, we did Paranormal Activity that one time, so that was pretty normal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we did found footage month, because they hate found footage movies, and of course I love found footage movies. And I said we needed to honor them,
I don't
even
mind
if
them.
it's not popular.
Have you ever seen The Last Broadcast?
I have not seen that one.
Oh, okay. It's about the Jersey Devil. It's a found
Yeah,
footage movie.
I haven't seen it because I know the ending.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't really think I need to at this point.
It's not great, but but
What do you think of Cloverfield?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I love Cloverfield. Cloverfield is probably my favorite kaiju movie,
Interesting.
and it's up there with my favorite found footage movies. Yeah, I fucking love Cloverfield, and 10 Cloverfield Lane. Even though it's a whole
Yeah.
other beast, It's a
Right.
fantastic movie.
That's a
The
good
most
ass movie.
unsettling use of facial hair or the removal of facial hair in movie history. When he shaves, you're like, oh no. That's all he has to do. He shaves, and you're like, oh no, he's gonna rape her.
I saw that one in a
Um,
packed theater, and that was a good choice to see with a lot of people. It was good.
Yeah.
That was a good one. So, do you typically watch kaiju or no?
Not any of the old ones. Like
Gotcha.
this like new batch we have going on
Mhm.
with like King Kong and Godzilla. I've been
Mhm.
all about those. I thought Godzilla King of the Monsters was a fucking masterpiece.
Awesome. Have you
I
seen
love those.
Shin Godzilla?
No, see anything from outside of the United States, I have a very narrow vision when it comes to kaiju. That I haven't really watched them because those like miniature sets with the men in the suits, like I just can't get into it.
Now, Shin Godzilla came out in 2016. Watch it. It's good.
Okay, I'll
That's fine.
I'll watch it. I've
I'm not going
been
to tell you
meaning to
anything
give
else about
kaiju
it.
another chance.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. Just check out Shin Godzilla and then don't tweet at me because apparently that's dead, but X at me or whatever it's called.
X at me.
Let me know what you thought about it.
X gonna give it to you, all right.
X gonna give it. Pato, do you have more questions?
No.
No? Oh God.
I don't know. What is a non-horror movie that you saw recently that you really dug?
The Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves, that's become a new favorite of all time for me. I'd never laughed so hard in my life watching a movie. I thought it was so funny and so well made, and they got just the right mix of servicing the fanboys, because my husband's a D&D fanboy. So like he was catching all the references and the names people would say, so that would make him giddy. And then I was just laughing at what was happening on the screen because it was genuinely hilarious. And plus it has, fucking dragons and magic. That's awesome too.
I was curious about because I want to watch it, but I'm not a D&D person, and I was worried I wouldn't get it.
No, you don't have to be a D&D person to watch it.
Well, then I think I'm going to check that out.
If you want a good laugh, watch it.
That sounds like a good one.
Also, a very good looking cast too, so that doesn't hurt.
I did see that in the trailer, and that's what got me interested.
So even if you're not laughing, at least you have eye candy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, that's right. The whole connection, I guess, that we've had to begin with. So you guys, as part of your Patreon, you have this other series, right? Hunting for Strange.
Yes, that's where we delve into paranormal television.
Whose idea was that? Did you guys kind of just come to that collectively, or
that was me? That's really funny. That was before I was even on the show. Because if you don't know the Grind Bin podcast, it covers exploitation films from the 60s up until the early 90s. And we were all me, Eddie, and Tim were all fans of that show. And so we joined their Discord, and then we all started talking to each other, and we all just kind of gelled as friends. And Eddie was like, well, I have this podcast I'm doing already. He's like, do you want to be a co-host with me and Tim? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. But I was guesting on their show before I was even like part of it. And so this was something that I brought up. I was like, you guys can do a paranormal TV show as like a Patreon bonus because it's short and it'd be easier to do. I was like, and at first it was called the Candice Files. So don't let Eddie's shit talking fool you. He loves me because I was still just a guest, and I even had the Candice Files as a Patreon bonus for his show. So full of shit.
Well, that's how it was introduced to me, was as the Candice Files, and this is your show and your thing, and you guys wanted me to come on and talk about that Mothman episode, which we did, and I think that's a fantastic fucking idea for you guys to cover these shows, because people love that stuff.
I know. And Eddie actually, I don't think he'd admit this in public, but he actually thanked me because they got a lot more listeners when they started doing paranormal stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's a huge audience you're not tapping right there.
Right. Right. Mr. Oblivious, tap that, get in there. But no, I agree. I think that's a great. Who came up with the name? The name change, I guess, eventually.
Well, it was just a Discord chat. We were all just bullshitting with each other, and someone said about hunting for strange. And I said, oh shit, that should be what the Candace Files is called. And that's how it got turned into Hunting for Strange.
I think that's a fantastic name for it. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's way better than the Candace Files.
I think it's damn good. Yeah. So you guys still, how often do you guys put out these episodes?
Oh, it's been rare. We're trying to get more just bonus content out there. And there's a lot of stuff we recorded that just hasn't been put out yet because we're all really busy.
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to meet our bi-weekly or even once a month deadline sometimes.
Sure. It's like that on Patreon. You know, these people, they pay for the content and you're grateful for it, but then I don't know, you're like, maybe I bit off a little more than I thought I could take on.
Yeah, especially since it's just Eddie doing all of that.
Right. Yeah. Very true. Yeah, very true. Well, and then you guys have to coordinate at least 3 people, and then you guys typically have a guest on Bloody Bits, don't you? Well, a lot of the times you do. Yeah. So, ooh, that's a lot.
But we have fun.
It is a fantastic show. It's the only podcast that I listen to regularly. So there's that.
Excellent.
So that's a glowing review from me.
And not just the bonus episodes, but patreon.com/bloodbank. You can sign up. Well, oh my God. Patreon.com/bloodybits. There, you can become a Patreon member. And if you sign up at the $10 level, fuck the bonus episodes. What we got is the Blood Bank.
Yeah.
And the Blood Bank is a Plex server that you can get the password to and access to, and you can watch over 6,000. I think the last count was 6,200, and it's horror, it's exploitation, it's action, it's comedies, it's old movies, it's new movies. Like all the Fast and the Furious movies just got put into it. Everything you could ever want to watch is in the Blood Bank. And if it's not in there, you can ask Eddie directly and he can add it for you.
And he'll put it in there. That's where I watch Bodies.
Yep. Me too.
I tell people I pump it so much on this show. I'm like, look, fuck whatever streaming services you have. Just get the Blood Bank. Like, you're fine.
Yeah. I even approached someone on Twitter. I'm like, I don't normally do this, but I know where you can find this movie.
Right. Exactly. It's best $10 you'll spend. Eddie even he gave me access to it for free, and I felt so bad because I feel like I got such a gift that I subbed to the Patreon. So it is an endless. Pato, you haven't signed up yet, have you?
No, I've not, but you guys you do a good selling job.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Literally anything you could want is in there.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's all pretty, I mean, even like the newer stuff that comes out, it's not, immediately on there, but it's on there pretty quicker than a lot of these streaming services, I notice.
If it's available on the internet, it'll be on there.
Yeah, it'll be on there. So definitely check that out. Well, Candace, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me at HorrorHoochie69 on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah. You like that name, Pat?
I do.
I did watch that name come into being on the Discord. So
yeah, because I just wanted something dumb. I was like, I want people to know I'm into horror, but I also don't take myself too seriously. And so that's how we settled on Horror Hoochie 69. Yep.
I
always gets a laugh.
69. Like, fuck it. Yeah, you're right. It still gets a laugh.
I was wondering about that. We have Horror Hoochie here, like for real. I don't know. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it's a haunted house. It's like a.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm almost positive it's called something Hoochie. I'm pretty sure it's Horror Hoochie. But let me look it up. Hold on. There's I'm sorry. Haunted Hoochie is what it's called. Close enough. Haunted Hoochie. Yeah, I think it's like, it's in Ohio. They have like different, it's like an extreme haunted house. You can watch like a woman give birth to a demon baby. It's pretty intense.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. They have like a 3D room where it's like a 3D haunted house, but you're like tripping on acid supposedly and having a bad trip is what it is. It's cool. It's neat. So anyway.
That sounds like fun.
You. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show and teaching us about Jehovah's Witnesses and
and then favorite horror movies.
and your favorite horror movie. And if we have a need to have you on again, I mean, we'll definitely invite you back.
Yeah, always down to talk.
Awesome. That's what we like to. It's what we do every Wednesday. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you back here next Wednesday.